The only thing that was a little more in your face was like her when she was
speak.
Yeah, speak.
Talk. Eat.
And I was
sleep.
thinking like, God.
Shit.
Yeah, I thought that too, dude.
Shit. Plumbing. Plums. Plum. Fruit. Fruit. Eat. Eat. Shit.
Eat shit. Eat shit. Die.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the final best of episode for Ultima Final Fantasy. This is for the year of 2019. And next week, you guys will be getting, or on Christmas Day, I believe, you guys will be getting the final weekly-ish episode. Which is going to be like, I think it's going to be like 6.5 hours or something like that. It's really long, but the final ranking, yeah, it's coming up next week. But here's another long one, just in case you didn't have enough podcasts in your queue. This selection was made by Victor Krause, and he's been a friend of the show now for a little while, and he makes a lot of appearances on this best of episode as well. We had an episode with him, and then we had that little crossover episode with Lipstick Panel as well. And yeah, aka James Gameboy, you can find him on Twitter and all that stuff. But yeah, he went through this year, and he pulled all the clips that he thought were the best. Interesting thoughts I have, at least I think they're interesting, about the clips that he pulled. Unlike the other clips, where they were kind of like little jokes and little bits from the previous weeks, Victor chose to do less bits but longer chunks. So Victor's kind of tastes kind of go for the full picture kind of best ofs. So we got the entirety of Schweiss's son being born. And of course my rant from a few weeks ago. The entirety of those things are on here, and so it's a long episode. Yeah, it's over 3 hours. But hey, it's an entire year of podcasting, and it's one of my favorite years of podcasting as well. So I enjoyed listening to these clips as I put them together, and I hope you'll enjoy too. Oh yeah, the other thing I was going to mention, Victor also likes references to popular music or rock music. Victor's a real big fan of those. So that's another thing I noticed, but they're a good selection. So, guys, I hope you enjoyed as much as I did. This is the best of 2019.
We went 5 years without fucking up, and we didn't fuck up. Well, I guess I fucked up by leaving my equipment over at your house and waiting for you to fucking mail the thing back to me.
Yeah, fucking piece by piece. I was listening to a lot of Slayer's Rain and Blood, that piece by piece song. I was just like, all right, Joe, here you go. Here's the Zoom. And then you're like,
not to mention, I never got the box.
Oh no, the box.
So.
I think I threw the box away actually.
What the fuck?
I was
we
like,
didn't talk about this last time because we had a guest on the show.
I was thinking like, oh, dude, I should just like flatten the box and mail the box to Joe. Like, just fucking. At first, I sent him the Zoom, and he's like, "Hey, I got the Zoom. Where's this? What was it missing the first time? Oh, it was the. Fuck. What did I send? Oh, I sent the Zoom, and then I didn't send the.
There was no memory card.
Yeah, it was like the memory card.
No, there was no memory card reader.
Oh, that's right. So it was the Zoom, a memory card reader, and the memory card, and a puffball that Joe had in a box. So he's like, hey, mail this shit to me. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And I do what I always do, where like I either like look at the list and then like just mentally cross out like half of the list. And I'm like, yeah, he only really needs this. Or I do what I did yesterday, where Alex wrote down like personal Coke in fucking cursive, and like I was like, oh, I'm just gonna get her a regular Coke. She's like, I just want a 20 ouncer, and I'm like, I'm not gonna get a 20 ounce Diet Coke. I'm gonna get a liter. So I just went and got that first, and then I went to the store, and then I looked at the list again, and I read it as personal cake. So I come back with like a little fucking red velvet cake. She's like, what's the cake for? And I'm like, it says personal cake. Oh, wait, shit, it's personal Coke. I was looking at it, and I was like, why the fuck does she want a cake? And I'm over in the cake section, and I'm like, shit, like, what kind of cake should I get? Like, all the nice cakes are huge and like $30+. Those aren't personal cakes. Like, I could get the little, like, slice of cheesecake, but that's, like, a little too intimately personal. So I went with a fucking red velvet cake. So, yeah, that's what I do with lists. I either, like, don't send it all, or I fucking add to with things that almost look the same, but aren't. Also, I feel like I can only read my name in cursive now. Like, it's been so long since I've used it that Coke looks like cake. But in her case, I did bring the fucking Coke. And in your case, I did not send the fucking card reader. So then I sent the Zoom by itself. Joe's like, hey, where's the card reader? I can't actually upload my fucking audio without the card reader. And make sure you send the puffball. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So I send the card reader. And then I'm like putting it in the bag. And I'm like, fuck, I forgot the puffball. But I'm like, fuck it, I'm at work, like, it's too late. I'm just going to mail it like this. And then I ordered a separate set of puffballs for Joe. Did you get those, by the way? I never actually asked.
I did, in fact. They are...
Okay.
They're padding my Zoom because I have no container for my Zoom, so now my Zoom belongs in a Ziploc bag with a bunch of puffballs. So that's now the thing that I contain my recording equipment in.
Oh, there you go.
Really could have used some Ziplocs from you, but got those myself. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
You don't want me to send them.
Ignis, talks about, what you could do to help the environment. Only eating. He's not suggesting that you be a vegan, but, if you only ate meat twice a week, the effect would be monumental and all this other stuff. And one of the things that he listed very loudly so that everybody could very clearly get the message was get rid of single-use plastic bottles. If you have a water bottle, get a reusable plastic bottle. I swear to God, he talked about it for like 30 seconds, the reusable plastic bottle thing.
Yeah.
My favorite things was one of the volunteers from KoopaCon wearing a bright green shirt, had a big camera strapped to his chest, was taking his sweet break while Ignis is being interviewed. And in the middle of don't use reusable plastic bottles, my God, I wish I had a picture of this.
He was
this guy very near the stage chugging a big crinkled up plastic bottle, just gulping
Joe
it
just
down.
goes, man. Joe's just laughing like out loud. And the guy looked over at us like, while Joe was laughing, and he's just like, "What? What's going on?"
If I had the video, it would be perfect. From my point of view, if I had the video of Ignis like going on a whole bunch of things you don't want to use, and then that guy just like chugging his single-use plastic water bottle.
Yeah.
Oh, it would have been beautiful. But also, I think it was either that lady or the lady after who asked a question left their single-use plastic bottle.
Yes, it was the one
at
after.
the microphone stand, and someone else like tripped over it. I was having a pretty good time watching this amazing amount of hypocrisy. Anyway, that was kind of our trip. This morning we almost missed our plane because of delays on the subway. We ate a little too slow, and we were like, we ran to the line, and they were closing the doors when we got there. We almost had a heart attack, but I guess just us jogging made up the distance. But that was fucking scary.
Yeah, and then we got our new catchphrase from this trip.
Yeah, this trip. So I was running up to the thing. Another lady had just gotten to the gate. They were closing the doors, and they just opened it for her and me, and then you guys came behind me. And in that time, she goes, "You guys are late." She's like a really skinny woman. You know, she's a very sun.
She's been
exposed.
She's been outside for a while.
And perhaps smoked about 1 million cigarettes in her lifetime and never left New England. So she's got that accent. She goes, you guys are late. Just like really unapproved. I was like, there it is. There it is, the true New York experience.
Yeah, we gotta get this.
You guys are late.
Can't stand here.
You guys are late.
No one's coming.
So every
you guys are late.
So every time someone's late now, I gotta go, "You guys are late." Why are you saying it like that?
Yeah, it's like, "You gonna let us on?" She's like, "Yeah, of course." Okay, well then just let us on, man.
Just let us on.
Just come on.
Come on. Obviously, we were running here.
We were sprinting. We knew what we had done. We did not give ourselves enough time, and there were delays, stupid delays on the subway.
There were like
shitload
15
of
minutes worth
people.
of delays.
Yeah, and then the TSA is a fucking joke, of course. They were actually pretty fast, but there were just so many people.
Yeah.
But still, waste of time. Terrorists win because of that.
Yeah, the terrorists won.
They took our fucking balls.
That's right.
Our pillared, huge Trade Center balls. And now we have to put our shoes in fucking trays. Also, why the fuck is it different from one TSA place to the other? Since Salt Lake, we had to take our fucking shoes off.
I think because they were in a hurry in the New York one.
You think so?
Yeah, I think.
So it's just a giant waste.
There were so many people in line that they were just like, "Screw it, let them keep their shoes on."
Or it was like, or they were
Put
like,
your belt in the bag.
Yeah, they had us just put all of our things that we had separate the first time just in the bag, and they're like, "Fuck it, let's go." Which is like, okay, so we're willing to skimp on safety when it's busy. So how necessary is this shit? Whatever. Just say it. If you're going to have a fucking thing, have it the same everywhere when the thing is everywhere. If I got to take my fucking shoes off in Salt Lake, I should have to take my fucking shoes off in New York. If I have to have my belt and my wallet and my keys in a fucking bin in Salt Lake, don't have me put them in the suitcase in New York. Because I would have put them in the suitcase. I would have done that before, and then everyone's like, "Oh my god, we're doing this different." And then it clogs it up even more, and I'm like, "Fuck, we have like 30 seconds, man." And then Cameron's bag doesn't go through because he's got 7,000 wires stacked onto each other, and it probably looks like the ultimate fucking bomb in his bag because he's got like 60 electronic devices on top of each other. They're like, "Oh, can we run the bag again?" And I'm like, "Fuck, we do not have time for this."
The first day, they fucking stopped us because we had a bunch of Nude Clan stickers in a box.
They were like,
"This must be a bomb."
It's like, "Do you guys have like sunscreen or lotion in here?" And I'm like, "No." Like, there's just like a big bar of something. And I'm like, "Oh, is it the stickers?" And then I pull it out, and she like sifts through the stickers for a few minutes and then is like, "Oh, your stickers are safe." And I'm
that
like,
woman was very attractive.
And I was like, "Well, thank you.
Very nice for a TSA agent."
Wasn't sure if my stickers were going to be safe or not. Or if not, you know what? Best thing you can do, share us with a friend. I love seeing the subscriber count go up on Podcast Addict. When it doesn't, I get really mad. When it goes down, I get livid. So
they tried to come up with something, and then they thought other catchphrases were going to like Ray never thought beans was going to pick up. But did you have how quickly had you realised? Hold on a minute, I've got an iconic catchphrase.
Yeah, I know. I mean, we have absolutely no idea. There's a lot of pretty pithy lines across the course of 18 months of recording something. You know, there's just so much that we say. And I could never have imagined that. And it didn't even strike me as I said it, and I couldn't even remember that I had said it, right? And so it was in the game and in the circulation of the general populace. And somebody came up to me and they said, "Listen, I was in a store the other day in the US, and somebody on one side of the store said, just randomly, they just said, 'Oh, that's it.' And someone on the other side of the store went, 'I've come up with a new recipe.'"
milk tin ever since. Congratulations, round of applause for the milk tin.
When someone gets starts shitting on me on Twitter or on you
About something that I said.
sometimes it's something that you said, and I'm the one who's getting shit on. And okay, so every time Schweiss says something dumb, they assume it's me talking. Are our voices that similar?
I really don't think so. And that's why it's always been surprising to me. And I was like, yeah, I'm pretty sure I said that. And usually it's not dumb. It's usually just something that really, really bothered them. And I feel like it's because they get this idea that one of the two of us is their poster boy. And if they heard something bullshit, they're like, "Oh, that must have been that fucking Joe, always pulling my fucking the wrong strings, he's fucking with me." And it's like, no, we're not your friends, people. No, it's we're gonna have things that we both dislike or like that you guys don't. I mean, we're just fucking two dudes, man. We're just two dudes. Two dudes
doing
and
a podcast, bro.
That's right, yeah. Just two bros, just two god-tier Final Fantasy players, bro. A lot of the stuff that people were getting real mad about, though, the boob reduction in Final Fantasy VII apparently was part of their fuck. What was the term they used? It was super weird. It was their something PR. Oh, their ethics committee. And some people online were extremely upset about that. The fact that some other outside force at Square Enix basically was the reason behind the boob reduction thing. And Kitase, or it was either him or Nomura, talked about how that's why they reduced the size of the breasts. And,
This is a ridiculous conversation. You know that, right?
I just don't give a fuck. I like boobs, right? I enjoy boobs. I'm a boob guy.
Don't we all? I'm a boob guy as well, Schweiss.
It's just they're nice. But I like a handful of boob. But
oddly in California, boob guy not common.
Yeah,
not common. A lot of guys are ass guys.
I think Utah's a boob place, right?
Yeah, on Pornhub, Utah was the furthest south boob state.
Okay, there we go. So we're a boob state. That's just how we're
I come
raised.
from a boob state.
I was raised on the tit, so I've got decent.
Florida's an ass state, so you were raised in an ass state.
Yeah. Born but not raised. I'm looking and it's I've got decently sized hands, I think, and so a handful is kind of a lot of boob, right?
I think there's more. I think Tifa still at this point has more than a handful.
Oh, she does.
Oh, they're big, guys. They're not small.
And here's what I think happened. I think their team of people came up and they were like, "Hey, we think the tits are a little bit too big. We know this is your passion project. We know this is your big deal. Are you cool if we reduce them a little bit just because it's kind of ridiculous?" And then, you know what I imagine Nomura doing? He's like, "Yeah, no, that's fine." And they're like, "Oh, really? Is that okay? You're fine with that?" He's like, "Yeah, no, I don't give a shit about the big titties.
This isn't a hill I'm going to die on today."
Yeah. He's like, "No, it's fine.
It will make me look really shitty."
It's
the people who are going to backlash against the boob reduction.
Yeah.
God.
It's I don't think he gives a shit about the boobs. It's not that big of a deal. The game's not about Tifa's tits. Admittedly, the game is, to me, about Cloud finally coming around to Tifa and accepting Tifa in the end. And that's how I've always viewed it. And I know they're not going to do that with the remake because they're going to make it Advent Children-y where he's like, "Oh, Aerith." And he's going to go back to that. Which is, it's fine. It's not the ending that I saw in my last playthrough of FF7, but that's the ending we're going to get. And it's never been about Tifa's tits. They were egregious to begin with. I mean, it's like Dog the Bounty Hunter's fucking girlfriend. Like, they're ridiculous. So to be upset at the fact that they reduced them because of, like, any department or anything, any one or multiple people coming together and saying, hey, we should make her tits a little smaller. Like, I feel like that's a crazy thing to get mad about.
2 Blu-rays. That makes me think it's going to be 2 parts, but then I also heard they don't know how many parts it's going to be in, so they just contradict themselves. So I don't really have enough. I don't know. I have no idea how it's going to go about. But the first half of the game being, or the first game just being Midgar, honestly, that seems like too much. It feels like there should be more of the game.
Yeah, it's like I'm paying $380 for Midgar.
Just to be stuck in Midgar?
And a fucking motorcycle.
That's like the first
and a
part
toy?
Of like, all I do, if they did a remake of FF8, like the first 40 hours of the game, you were just in Milan Garden and
oh, no.
I would kill myself.
No, dude, the first 40 hours is the train mission.
It just goes up to the train mission.
Just fuck it. The train mission is the peak,
it's
end.
all in real time. It's an 8-hour...
8-hour train ride. God, dude, I hate that fucking train. I hate that part of that fucking game, dude. It's like the hour-long tutorial, and it's like, this was so easy. Like, why the fuck did you spend so long telling me exactly what I needed to do? And, like, you could just figure it out. Like, if it was in Japanese, you could figure it out.
This train piece goes here, and there's, like, no, like, skip this fucking dialogue, please, God.
Yeah, and it's like, God, did the guy who wrote this, did he used to be a train conductor, and he's, like, really, really into trains? He's like, no.
There's a lot of trains in Japan. There's a lot of train shit when you watch their media. Like, there's a whole lot of trains.
That's true. A whole lot of train. They love their train.
Got a whole lot of train.
Yeah. Got a whole lot of train. Chugga, 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 chugga.
You need choo-choo. All right.
I'm not choo-choo. Oh, man.
Oh, I'm gonna be a conductor, man.
Yeah.
Hey, oh, hey, ooh. All right.
Instead of oh, it's just hey, hoot, hey, hoot. Jesus, yeah, that's good.
It's 2 in the morning.
It's good for 2 a.m. It's probably like, oh, God, just shut the fuck up for like noon. 2 a.m. Telling you, come back to it at 2 a.m. You'll love it. And have you looked at how much that game costs?
Does it cost more than the original? Because the original was like the 5th most. Wait, hold on. Cost for the consumer or cost for the company?
The consumer, the collector's edition.
Oh, no. Jake sent me a link yesterday, and I just knew I wasn't going to get it. Cause I got to go. I got to go a little Dave Ramsey right now.
So the list price for the day 1 edition, or the rank 1 or something like that, I can't remember what they call it. It's like the top rank in or class 1. Some fucking edition of it. The list price. This is before tax and before the shipping, which Square Enix's store does charge you for, by the way. They're not beautiful like Amazon. The list price for the Super Hog edition, $329.99.
How many are they printing?
I don't know. They don't say. So after taxes and shipping, $371.81. And I know that because I pre-ordered it, but I don't know. I don't know if it's worth it, and I don't know if I'm actually going to carry it out, but I now have the option to fucking buy it. See what he says about it, though. If you don't know the battlefield trick, certain battlefields will give you an extra set of experience when you clear them out. If you are below the amount of XP to gain a level, then the XP you will obtain will go up 2 levels in one battlefield. The good side is you will be an extra level higher than you would be, but the downside is the EXP needed to gain the next level is doubled since it required the EXP that you skipped on the double level. This is good early on for defeating monsters in one hit, but the best time to use it is when leveling up from 39 to 41, since that is the max level. Oh wow, that's weird.
41's the max level? Fuck, I might have hit it.
Yeah, his next question is, do you wish there was not a level cap at 41? I mean, it's weird, but I don't know if I didn't reach 41, and if I would have, I wouldn't have been shaking my fist at it and been like, you kids and your 41! You know, that is a bizarro number to stop on, though. Like, maybe they're like, all right, what level did everyone get to? Like, they had the lowest level, and then they had the highest level, and then they just, like, split the difference when they were testing it, and they just said, all right, 41. That's the max level, 41.
My guess would be, Schweiss, that one of the executive's kids, one of his half-American kids could only count to 41.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
And so he just figured that's what it would have to be.
No, that's the largest number they know in America.
Like, it split the atom, but they can only count to 41.
Yeah. Although, I mean...
Or they can pay someone to split the atom from somewhere else. Because I'm going to get shit on that. Yes, I know a lot of scientists were from other places. Go ahead.
Didn't we join World War II in 42? Isn't that what it was? It was, wasn't it? I think it was.
December 7th, 1941, we got attacked. I thought did we declare war in 41 or 42?
Maybe it was 42. I always remember that, like, the whole Christopher Columbus, 1492, and then I swap it to 1942, and it's either, like, joining or us something big. I can't remember, though. Maybe 41, though. That's when we joined up.
December 7th, December 7th, 1941 is the day Pearl Harbor was attacked.
Oh, see? There it is. Fucking A, man. This is
41.
An attack. This is an attack on us. Yeah, this is crazy.
This is a nationalistic bullshit that we're getting from Japan right here.
Yeah, look at this. The fucking level
in the form of a
41. Like, that
really easy video game.
That was the best you were, is when we attacked you in 41. So weird.
A for Extreme says, truly, this is the Dark Souls of the Final Fantasy franchise. Japan knew their bitch-made game Final Fantasy V was too simple and easy for the legion of hot-blooded, muscle-clad, virile American gamers of the mid-90s, so they made a special, extra difficult version of Final Fantasy to test our mettle. You only get a maximum of 2 party members, which means you'll be outnumbered in a majority of cases. Allies can't change their weapons, which means your main character is going to have to become a one-man army strategist in order to quickly dispatch your foes. Enemy encounters are finite, which means the coward's tactic of quote-unquote grinding does not apply here. Nearly every enemy outside of the starting area has at least one attack which inflicts a status ailment, and they can and will use them against you at every opportunity. And those sneaky Japanese must be fudging the numbers on your character's accuracy stats because your party member will miss roughly every other
so
hit.
True.
While enemies rarely do, especially if they're hitting you with status besides Doom. Turn order also seems to be completely randomized despite any speed stats, leading to scenarios where enemies will get to turn priority before you use an item or a healing spell, or where enemies will get to heal themselves for full health, mind you, between your party members' attacks, negating any progress you'd make attempting to slay them. This game is hardcore with a capital hard. Okay. This game is tailored to America through and through. Navigation on the world map is handled automatically since they knew hardened American men would be playing this game. And the last thing we want to do is stop and ask for directions. Soda pop is an item you can get, called refreshers, as I'm sure some sponsorship with Coca-Cola must have fallen through. The Inn and Firebug hosts a rock band that plays Johnny Be Good bootleg as if they were a Marty McFly at the Enchantment Under the Sea dance. The rock and metal stylings of the battle music slap so hard my SNES still has handprints on its yellow ass. Sorry, let me repeat that. The rock and metal stylings of the battle music slap so hard my SNES still has red handprints on its yellow ass.
Man, that is good.
And Mystic Quest is also the first and only Final Fantasy themed wrestling game with enemies using such with enemies using such attacks as neck choke, pile driver, and full Nelson. It's almost as good as a Def Jam Vendetta. Also, a lot of the enemies must be goth kids in the late 80s because they kept using, quote, the cure. Overall, this Final Fantasy bleeds red, white, and blue in every sense. Only the most seasoned gamers like myself will collect all of the weapons, magic, and armor to defeat the Dark King. Sure, I had to call the Nintendo Power Hotline. Sure, I had to call the Nintendo Power Hotline and rack up my parents' phone bill to get through the Doom Castle. But that's just because the tile sets are kind of garbage, and it was hard to tell where to go in the Air Crystal Room. I give this game 3 out of 5 Texas Roundhouse baskets of bread and cinnamon butter. Wow, that was a really good review from A for Extreme. I don't think it's that difficult, but thank you for your review.
Thanks, man. That was great. Fucking red handprint on its yellow ass. Fuck, that was a great fucking moment.
Okay, so which one are you officially placing higher, 4 or 5?
I would say 4 is the better game.
Okay.
And I like it, but I like it more. And I know who Tella and Fusoya are. By the way, that's me. I'm the annoying guy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
really?
I'm the annoying Tella Fusoya guy who was like, "Hey, you guys don't know what you're talking about." So that was the funny thing is you read my question and then Schweiss follows up with
something else wrong.
But he's like, yeah, but it doesn't matter because when Tella dies, you just replace him with Krele. And I'm like, no, that's a different thing. I was like, I couldn't tell if I'm pretty sure you weren't doing it on purpose, but yeah,
no, he wasn't. That's
yeah, I wouldn't mind it if you were doing it on purpose because that was pretty funny.
That is funny, and it's sad because I know now, and that was years ago, and I should have known then more than now because I haven't played either of those games since.
Jeez.
I just, man, yeah, that's funny. Fuck you for that, but yeah, that's funny.
Oh, when you see rainbow boots in the game in one of the shops, I know it's like really expensive. Sell all the gems and get the rainbow boots.
Nice.
Yeah.
Do you get to do the rainbow in the dark as well? Can you use the rainbow boots at night? Some Dio.
I'm not gonna give you it.
Like a rainbow.
Like a rainbow in the dark. No.
I need lightning. I need arrow. But no one will sell it at night.
That's exactly what it is.
It's like the beer law here. It's like, it's after 1 a.m. An arrow can be sold.
And that's how you play. This game, you play the full version of every song. So, like, some tracks are really short, and other tracks are really fucking long. There are some, like, 6-minute tracks in here. It's pretty crazy. So that was also another thing. I remember going, like, 3 minutes each, 200 songs, 600 minutes. And, like, us doing the math totally wrong on an episode a couple of weeks ago.
Us?
And I was like,
fucking...
I'll be done in 6 hours or something like that. I think it ended up being like 11 hours, right?
I was kind of doing it like you were, though, where I was playing through each of the series. I was like, all right, let's do it FF1, FF2, and then I got done with 2, and I was like, this is a lot. Like, there's like, and it keeps unlocking tracks and shit, and I'm like, fuck, dude. Like, man, there's so many fucking songs for each of these goddamn games, and there's like 20 games. So I decided that I was just gonna have fun with it, and then near the end, I was like, for some reason too, I don't know why, but Final Fantasy XI to me is now it's becoming this like sacred thing. And so I chose Shantoto again in this game, and like 11 was one of the games where I went through each and every one of the tracks, and it's a great soundtrack. Like, don't get me wrong, that's one of the more solid ones in this game. But like I did that before I did 11s or 7s, 10s, a bunch of these other huge games. So like for some reason, 12 is like, I don't know, beaten spouse syndrome is like resurfacing within me, and I'm just like, oh yeah, 11.
Oh my God.
11
12
is so
was
good.
one I was just like, ugh. All right. Like, I don't know. I've always 12's music, I think it's like, there's some high points, but to me it's mostly like pretty, it's like too atmospheric and fluty for me. I don't know what the fuck it is.
Yeah,
about 12.
Crystal Chronicles has got too much kazoo, right? when they focus too much on those like wind-based instruments, if you can fucking call a kazoo an instrument, it just gets a little too much. So the initial port came out for the PlayStation 4 January 11th, 2018 in Japan, January 30th, 2018 worldwide, and it's a port of the Japanese arcade game released none other than November 26, 2015. We talked about that on this podcast.
We did. We talked about all this on this podcast when it was coming out. And the excitement was palpable, dude. Especially for the PS4 release here. And gotta say, did it deliver? Did it deliver?
No.
Spoiler alert for the rest of the podcast.
Yes.
It did not deliver.
Not deliver what we wanted, at least.
No.
It delivered something.
So how much, what edition of Dissidia? I know you got, like, the regular ass whatever edition to send to me via Amazon. Appreciate that. What edition did you get of Dissidia NT?
I got the collector's edition of it. So I've got a little statue of Warrior of Light. I've got the steelbook case. And I think there's an art book up there. There are a lot of art books above me right now on that shelf. I think one of them is from this game as well. So yeah, I got a bunch of cool looking stuff.
Okay. And how much did it cost you?
$200.
$200. Okay.
Yeah.
And how much time did you spend in the game?
So as we were talking earlier with Joe's playtime, I got 2 Shinru in 10 hours. And I beat the game, and I did a couple other things. And then when I last looked at the clock, because Joe told me to tell me his time, or tell me the time, and I forgot. But I didn't do a whole lot. Not a whole lot. It was 13 hours. So, I mean, that's...
It's 200 divided by 13.
Not a very good number. Is what it is. It's probably like $17 per hour to play this game. That commands quite the price.
Okay, all right. It's all gameplay stuff that I want to talk about when it comes to that. But there's one thing in development you forgot to mention, and that is why it's called the Dissidia NT, which I just looked this up. It's called the Dissidia NT. NT stands for New Tale. Tale. New Tale.
Okay.
So there you go. That was the mystery for me for forever.
That was eating away. That was eroding the confines of my mind. I'll tell you what. Honestly, at this point, I'm just like, fuck it, whatever. It's just 2 letters hanging out on the cover of this game. Let's just keep going. I can't have another dude Kime on my hands. I got too much Kime on my hands.
Gross.
I Kimed all over my hands, and I don't want to do it again.
You don't? Oh, okay.
It's thankfully it's just one dude Kime though. It's not multiple dudes Kime. It's a really well done soundtrack. The remixes are great. It's a pretty fast and heavy soundtrack at times, and I agree the bullshit like Blink-182 song that plays is terrible, but you know it's usually not for very long. And then there's like a Laguna Coil song in there too.
The Laguna Coil ripoff song.
Yeah.
Like it sounds like it's Laguna Coil, but not quite.
No. That one
The
I
other
thought
one
was all right.
like, it sounds like something between All American Rejects and Sum 41, but not quite.
Yeah, we have a lot of
the-
not quites in this game.
Yeah, there's a lot of not quites.
They should have done it
man.
Dissidia NQ. Dissidia not quite.
3. The Cactar follows loyally, and then Snow talks about Dodge and Saws and the airships and Hope and Grand Pulse. Sarah and Lightning disappearing again. And then I wrote down, I think Snow is actually in love with Lightning. And then Hope said something very similar right after I got finished writing that down. So Hope was like, hey, you seem to be real obsessed with Lightning. Do you forget about Sarah? And I was like, someone said it. I was like, I think Snow might have fallen in love with Lightning, which, by the way, would make 13-2 way more interesting if that was like the plot.
That would be kind of cool.
Like the inner struggle of Snow is like, oh, after all that journeying with Lightning, I actually fell in love with your sister.
Yeah.
Ding 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 ding.
She wouldn't let us have the three-way. Dun, 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 dun. I said it would be too weird.
Yeah, having a three-way with your sibling. Yeah, I would say that would be
it's
way
awesome
too
from Snow's
fucking weird.
perspective. I mean, who cares for him?
I guess. Yeah. So
there's one more thing in gameplay that I want to bring up, though.
Yeah, go ahead.
The fucking replay save, dude. All right, this is a function that this game has, and I don't know how I get there. I mean, I do because I booted it up while we were podcasting here, and I was like, all right, let's get to this screen so that I can actually read what takes place. So I usually play this game on break. I'll walk out to my car. I'll have like 6 minutes to play. And it's beautiful because you just like turn the quick power on the PSP on. You got the game up. It's booted. It's ready to roll. It's super fast. I downloaded the game. I spent 6 years doing the data install so that I could play this game with like reasonable load times. And it's just super lightning quick and it's great, you know. I sit down. I win a fight, and I don't know what it is. Like, I just don't want to look at the screen when I win a fight. I'm like, I don't need to see the level thing, so I'll, like, look up, look around, look outside, just kind of, like roll my neck around, like, stretch it out, because I've been hunched over the screen for the last 3 minutes. And then I suddenly look back down to my PlayStation Portable, and I'm in the loop again. And the fucking loop... For some reason, some unholy, ungodly reason, I pressed the fucking square button, which is the save replay button, which is horrifying. I still don't know how to get out of this thing. And like, you have the option to save your fucking replay from your match, which, why? First of all, who the fuck wants to save a replay of a match? Like, oh, look, I got proof I beat this. It's like the game fucking tells you when you beat anything of note, so you don't need to have the replay. But like, and it's like, I don't even mean to do it. I just look down and I'm there. I'm like in the sunken place of fucking save replay. And I've got the screen in front of me here. I have no replay saved because through all the confusion, I've still somehow managed to not save a replay. But I have two options on the screen. enter or back. So I'm going to press back because I don't want to save the replay. And it says, do you want to cancel save? And so I'm like, okay, yes. I press yes to that. And it says, data has not been saved. Proceed to the save and deletion screens. And I'm like, what? And so I press no. And then it asks, abort saving, yes or no. And that's the right way to go. That's the fucking right way to go. But if you do on the data has not been saved, proceed to the save and deletion screen and press yes. Then it says proceed to save. Selecting no will take you to the deletion screen. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what are you doing to me? Like, why are you fucking with me in this fucking way? Like, what screen is what? Like, where the fuck am I? It's just, oh god, it's a loop. And then it's, selecting no will take you to the deletion screen. So I hit no. And then it's like, proceeding to file deletion screen, at least 160 KB of space. I'm like, fine, whatever. And then it's back. And then it just shows me all the save data on my PSP, and I'm like, oh my fucking god, why am I here? From there, I can press back, and then it asks again, proceed to the save and deletion screen. Fucking no, abort saving, fuck yes, and now I'm free. And dude, like just now, that is the most competent I have been at getting out of that fucking screen ever. It's horrible. It's like, I almost want to cry. I'm like, why? Why is this here? It's like, I just lose my mind every time it happens, and I just want to like break down and weep. It's so fucking painful.
I think I did that once in the original game and once in this game.
God, dude.
And all I thought was like, oh, that's a really weird system. Okay, whatever. Okay, I'm out. Like, you accidentally get out. Just like you went in.
Yeah, it's like one of those fucking, like, metal class things that they're like the three different shapes or, like, animals that are, like, on top of each other. And, like, if you look at them while you're doing it, you can't get them separated. But if you look away, like, your hands will magically pull them apart. And, like, it's like this fucking secret. Like, you can't do it unless you're not looking. And it's like the fucking PSP is like my Samsung phone, and when I look away from it, the screen darkens. Like, when I look away from the screen, it goes to the fucking replay save screen, and it's like, ha! The thing that I played a lot this week, though, that's Final Fantasy related, is that Chocobo's Dungeon. It's Chocobo's Mystery Dungeon, everybody. On PS4.
Like that.
It's crazy. I think I have like 52 hours in that game, dude. It's insane.
Oh my god, why?
I was trying to be the first one to platinum it, and then now there have been like 10 or 11 people, and now I'm just like, I'll keep going. There's an endless dungeon mode in the game, and there's a trophy for getting to floor 500 on it. And I've been doing the dungeon for probably the last three or so hours, and I'm on like floor 130 something. So, and I just hit level 99. God. Like, my Chocobo is level 99 now.
God.
Yeah, it's
what the fuck?
It's a lot. It's intense.
Why are you replaying that game?
Because I wanted to be one of the first platinum achievers of this Final Fantasy game. I never get that chance. Fucking Monster of the Deep, I was number 12. I was like, what? Like, there's 13 people who played it, and 12 of us have the platinum, and the other guy was like, the other guy was you.
Yeah, the other guy's me saying, fuck this.
Yeah. Oh, like, fuck, man. But now it's like, I don't know how many hours these people had to put into this game to get the platinum. Like, there's a few things I could have done a little differently, I suppose, but I'm not even close. Like, I'm still pretty far away on some of these bigger trophies, and some of these dungeons I can't beat. So that's why I was like, screw it, I'll go into the endless dungeon and just see how far I can get before I die. And there's like a trophy for 100 floors, which I got, and then one for 500.
Oh, fuck.
And I can't change.
Are there the save spots like there is in the other dungeons, or what?
No.
What?
Nope. Yeah.
How the fuck long does it take you to get through that thing?
It's It's long. I mean,
500 hours?
Yeah. The hard part, though, is that it has trophies for obtaining every weapon, obtaining every collar, and obtaining every saddle as well. Yeah, and everybody. There is one for everybody. So the hard part for me is, like, it's not really about just finding the next floor and moving on. It's about going through and clearing each floor to make sure I can collect each weapon, because I think each weapon, saddle, and collar are in the final dungeon, the endless dungeon. And so I just need to pick them all up, identify them, and then, like, kick them out. So I can't just burn floor after floor after floor.
You know what you can do, though? You can burn the game.
Yeah, it's a digital, though. I'd have to burn the PlayStation.
I know, but sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah, sometimes great sacrifice is needed.
It's funny, in Utah, there's, like, no Tesla charging stations, so there's, like, no Teslas.
Yeah.
And I come over here, and, like, now I'm starting to see them. And they look nice, but nice-looking cars 20 years ago versus nice-looking cars now. Like, nice-looking cars now just, like, look like a regular car.
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
Does that bug you?
It kind of does. I was thinking about that, and I was like, is there going to be a time where I'm going to be talking about my 96 Honda Accord like these guys talk about their 69 Mustangs? And I was like, I don't think there ever will be. Like, well, you should have seen it. And then I had this custom bumper thrown on at the end. It was an off-color red. Oh, man, you guys, you would have loved it. It was amazing looking. I'm like,
I don't know, man, because like, I remember Hummers, right, being like I mean, this is just like 10, 15 years ago, I guess.
Yeah.
Just being like, like, that's your status, is that you can afford a Hummer.
Right, you can afford to fill
like,
it. Yeah.
Amazing room, and you can afford the gas. And, yeah, it's really nice on the inside and on the outside. And then also, like, man, I think my neighbor had, like, my neighbor was Hal Wing, who, if you guys know the Little Giant Ladder System infomercials that have been on television for the last 20 years, the same commercial, by the way, that factory was in our town, and that guy lived 5 houses away from me. So it was like a little, like, middle class, lower middle class neighborhood, and then the opening driveway to Hal Wing's mansion was just above us, always staring down at us with his castle. Have you seen his house, dude? It's got like I don't know. It's like a castle. It looks like a castle. It's ridiculous. But he was my neighbor, and he would drive up our hill with, like, some ridiculous, like, muscle car, and, like, he had like a bright yellow. I think it was a Viper. I don't know. It's like a Dodge Viper or something. It was some. I don't know my cars well enough to know, but it was like bright yellow, amazing body on the car, and, like, to me, that was a rich person's car, because this guy collected cars because he made that much fucking money.
Right. Yeah.
And he would drive his new beautiful, like, crazy looking car up and down the street, and a Tesla's like $100,000. And the idea that the Tesla and that car that Hal Wing drove were the same price, but the Tesla just looks like a fucking Prius. Like, the body of the car, it doesn't look that spectacular to me. I don't know. I'm not a car guy. Maybe I'm just not seeing the art of it. But to me, that's not really showing off. And if you're going to have a $100,000 car, you better be fucking showing off, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the thing, though, about Tesla, some of them aren't really that expensive. I mean, I think the model, I can't remember what model it is. Like, some of them are only, like, $35,000, I'm pretty sure.
I don't think that's true. I think these are very expensive cars. Now I'm going to have to look it up.
I think they have some base level ones that aren't. Yeah, I'm looking at the Tesla 3. And its standard range is 26,950 for rear wheel drive. Yeah, you can make it amazing for like $51K, but
I don't know, man. The Tesla was overhyped. I come to the state of Teslas, and I can't really tell the difference between a Tesla and another car except by the logo.
Yeah.
So I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed in how they look. Like a Jaguar, you could tell what a Jaguar looks like. Or at least 10 years ago you could. Now all the cars are looking the same. That's honestly like not... That's not making me happy as like an aspiring rich person.
I know.
The cars look...
So
there's no difference between a rich person's car and like a middle-class person's car, except on the inside.
I know,
Like,
and honestly, I'm looking at the outside of the Tesla 3. I made it black, and my car kind of looks better than it does.
Yeah.
Like before I ripped its front bumper off, of course. Just like the styling on the sides, like it seems like we're almost going backwards. Like the person that I ran into, I was like, oh, they must have like a 2013. No, it was a 2017 Ford Focus, and I'm like, that's the 2017. Like that looks like shit. It looks terrible. Like no wonder I hit it. I was like, get this out of my way. This is a blight to my eyes. And it's like, I don't know. Usually you can, like you're saying, you can kind of tell like when a car was released, you know, based on how they made it look. But now, yeah, everything kind of just looks like shit. I don't know. And like those old muscle cars are just looking better and better as time goes on.
Everything looks like a Honda. Everything looks like a Honda Accord.
Yeah, like through either from the 80s to like current Accord. Like it's like one of those. They just picked one of the Accord styles and they just went with it.
I don't know. I guess that's why you got to get a vintage car, because it has like a shape to it. It's shapely and beautiful and visually appealing and shit like that.
I know, yeah. I was like, I don't think there's ever going to be another car that's as awesome as like the 69 Mustang. Like I just don't think it's going to happen. They just don't want it to happen. It's just so perfect in like every way.
Yeah. All right. Well, this is CarCast. Thank you for listening.
Yeah, this has been the pilot episode of CarCast where we complain about emission regulations in California. Square Enix has received death threats from a gamer who is angry at loot boxes.
At loot boxes?
Yeah, they're mad about loot boxes.
How about I'm mad at people who waste money on loot boxes? Can I do a death threat to every single loot box?
Now, we got to be careful. We got to be careful here, because on Nude Clan, I got real mad about people wanting a Dark Souls-ass game to be easier and complaining about it. And, of course, I stuck my foot knee-deep in my fucking mouth, and someone fucking tweeted me back saying that they're a big fan of mine and been listening for a long time, but it bothered him because he has a hard time recognizing the patterns, so he would like to customize the controls for the game. And I was like, okay, that's fair. That's accessibility option to me. But really, it just sounded like everyone wanted the game to be fucking easier. And I'm like, that's not... I mean, that's technically accessible, but it's not accessibility, right? So I don't want to get too far into that, but I'm going to do it anyways, because I just fucking can't resist.
So Schweiss, you had a crazy week. Weren't even sure if you were going to be on UFF this week.
Yeah, it was a very crazy week. It's even crazier than one might think.
Okay,
so
get into it.
So Monday rolls around. I've got work, but I've also got appointments for Alexandria, and I've got to do some stuff to like make sure we're ready for the baby that we were gonna get. And I am blitzed, super tired, absolutely destroyed. And we drive up to the doctor's appointment. We get the appointment done. They're like, "Oh, yeah, the baby looks huge. Like, you guys are gonna go with the C-section, right?" And we decided yes, because we were worried that he was extremely large and like really broad, because that's what he was measuring with the ultrasounds apparently. And so we're like, yeah, let's do it. And then I'm leaving the doctor's office, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna flip a U-turn because I'm on the Provo Orem Hill, and I totally just turned into some dude. So I haven't been in a car accident in like 8 years. And I bump into him, and it was the middle of their car. So, like, I don't know how I didn't see these people.
And I was looking at it afterwards, and I'm like, where did they come from? Because, like, I bumped into them, and I was like, huh, that's a weird sound. And then it was like crunch, and then they just drove ahead of me, and I'm like, what? So, like, I feel like it's like the scene from Back to the Future when the guy just rips and goes into the future, you know, or Back to the Future with the flux capacitor or whatever in the car.
The lightning and the clock tower, sure, yeah.
Yeah, so, like, it almost seemed like they just zoomed past, and I was somehow able to hit the center of the car. It's like where the two doors are. And, of course, since it wasn't me bumping into somebody's rear end, I, of course, broke part of my bumper off. Mm-hmm. And it was dragging. And then, naturally, since they're, like, 19 years old, they call the police, which is the worst thing to do, guys. If you ever get in an accident, don't call the police. What you do is you find out what's going on. You talk to the other person, like, hey, is everyone cool? Like, are you all right? And then you figure out, like, okay, who's at fault here? And then you just call your insurance. That's it. Calling the cops just makes it fucking complicated for everybody. And everyone, there's almost always going to be a ticket. And, of course, that was mine. Yeah. Because I was just not paying attention. And I was just like, wow. And then go ahead.
I got when I rear-ended someone, I got the following too close ticket.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
did you get the following too close to the side ticket?
Yeah, I got the failure to yield or something. I don't know what it was, but it's $125, so I'm not pleased about that. And my bumper, so it was dragging a lot. And when we did the exchange of insurances, like, it wasn't a big deal. And I was just like, you know what? Over the years, there have been a bunch of times where I was like not paying as much attention, and I was like, whoa, that was kind of close. So I'm like, fuck it. Like, it was bound to happen eventually because I'm kind of reckless sometimes. And it's like, just, there's nothing I could do about it. There's no point getting pissed off because it's over. Like, and I walk over to the front of my car, and the bumper is just...
You only have yourself to blame.
I really do, yeah. There's no reason to get mad. It's like, I just need to get more sleep. Like, that's really just what it is. I need to get more sleep and pay more attention because I looked and I saw nothing. And since I was trying to do a U-turn, I, like, really turned, you know? Mm-hmm. And, yeah. My bumper is not on my car anymore because it was dragging real bad. And it was broken about 3/4 of the way. And I just grabbed it and I just ripped the rest of it off and stuffed it in my trunk. So that happened Monday. And I was just like...
That's a nice car, too.
It's a real nice car.
Yeah, it's a real nice car that has no seat space because it's stacked with CDs and trash on the inside, and now you trash the outside.
Well, you know what the sad part is? It looks really nice on the inside now. Like, it's all cleaned up. Like, I did some upholstery stuff. Like, it's still got some of the stains, but it's like I'm starting to work it out. I've got to do multiple applications.
It's a low-grade curse. It's a low-grade curse on your car.
Yeah,
it's like one part of this will look like shit at all times.
And it's like, and I washed it recently, and even with because like not all of the paint from the wedding went off, and even with that on, I was like, man, this is a good looking car. And now, dude, it looks like ass. And it's funny because almost all the damage was the bumper. So all I need to do is replace the bumper, and it'll look fine again, and paint it, of course. Mm-hmm. The fender on the left side, which is where I ran into him, is a little bit bent, but it's not bent to the point where it will look terrible, or I couldn't bend it back into place, you know. So, like, it was a pretty clean swipe, but so a real rough start to the week. I go to work, you know, work a couple more days, or no, one more day, and then, oh my God, dude. I was just so out of it, and I was like, oh, I'm going to get gas when I go to work. And then I start leaving to go to Smith's because I have to go pick up, I think it was like some medicine or something. I had to go pick up something. And I was driving to Smith's, and I was like, oh, yeah, I forgot to get gas. And I'm like, you know, I'll just get gas when I finish up at Smith's. And I'm fucking pulling into Smith's, and, like, I'm just about to start parking, and the car just dies. And I'm like, are you serious? I have prided myself all my adult life of two things when it comes to my car. One, I've never locked my keys in my car ever. It's never happened. And two, I have never run out of gas. And that is no longer true. So I ran out of gas, had to have some dude help me, like, fucking push my gasless car into this parking spot. because it's a bitch trying to like. At first I just had my door open a little and I was just kind of like pushing it with my foot. It was in neutral and I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna destroy my door if I keep this up." And this dude came over and helped me push it. And so I went in and I was like, "All right, I need a gas can," because the Smiths has a gas station, a little fill-up station right across the street. Yeah. I was like, "All right, all I need to do is get a gas can." And this, mind you, this is like, I think it's 2:30 or 2:15, 2:20, and I have to be at work at 3. And I haven't showered yet. And all I was doing was just running there to grab some, like 2 items real quick. Not a big deal. And so I run in, buy the thing. I go back out, and I go to the gas station thing across the street. And as I'm filling it up, I'm like, oh, my God, this thing doesn't have, like, a nozzle. Like, there's no nozzle in here. I'm like, what kind of fucking gas can doesn't have a nozzle to pour the gas in? I'm like, what am I going to... Who has, like, this gas reservoir that they could just dump it in, like, in a bucket of gasoline and just pour it in? So I'm like, fine, whatever. I'm sure they have a funnel in the store. Like, they had all these things for cars, you know. Not a big deal. I walk in... I go, and as I'm going, I'm like, if they don't have a funnel, I'll just buy, like, one of those plastic folders and just make one. And I go, and I spend, like, 3 minutes looking in the car area, and there's no funnel. I'm like, how is there no funnel? There's, like, every other thing. There's, like, 70 different kinds of make your car not smell like ass things in here. But I'm like, there's no funnel. You've got oil, you've got transmission fluid, no funnel? Like, what? What? God. So yeah, I grab the folder, go out, pour the fucking gas in. The car is fine because it was just the gas. Then I drive home, and God, I get home and and so we're still prepping for baby, right? So we're like deep cleaning everything, and I go into the bathroom with my clothes, and I look in the tub, and there's just all of Jace's little like pretend food things. The tub's full, and there's all these pretend food things sitting in this like tub of chemicals. Just like cleaning them off because they're just dirty beyond belief, and I'm just like, all right, fuck it, I'm not going today. Like, I can't go in. I smell like shit. I don't have any gas. Like, I'm not gonna lose gas and die and have people from work push me, and I can't deal with that. So I just called in. I'm like, I can't do it today, guys. I just can't make it. And then Wednesday morning, after again almost no sleep. We go in at like 9 in the morning, and we start prepping for the C-section. And the hospital's like super backed up, and for some reason it took like ages. So they prepped Alexandria up, and they had her like all ready to go. Had me with my little outfit, and we just sat in the room for I think like 2.5 hours almost, just waiting to get in and get this operation, this major surgery started, you know. And we go and we start suiting up, and I go back there, and it's crazy because it was like instant. They got her in, and they had me like sitting up next to her. They had the little surgery wall so you can't see the horrors beyond, you know.
Sure.
And the doctor's like, all right, scalpel. And then suddenly I hear like all this water everywhere, and they just like cut into it. And then like 2 seconds later, after that I hear a ton of grunting because I guess his head is massive. And they're like, they had to use forceps to like yank his fucking head out of there. Because the problem is when babies are being birthed, they like get super stressed, and they can like poop while they're inside. And if they do that, it can do some serious damage to the mom, because that's not supposed to be in there, you know. So he had to yank him out with these forceps, and then I hear a couple cries, and then me and the baby go off, and he gets to sit under this awesome like lamp thing. It's like a lamp for a lizard pet. It felt great, and I was like, damn, I want to get one of these for the house. You know, just fucking lay on a rock with this heat lamp and just yes. And then he comes out, and he only weighs 8 pounds. I'm like, okay, so the C-section thing, we were freaking out because they're like, oh, baby's a huge, big boy, you know. And he's still like a week and a half early, but he only weighed 8 pounds.
A week and a half early, and he's 8 pounds? That is pretty big.
Yeah.
I
was
an 8-pound
bigger,
baby is a big baby.
I think I was like almost 3 weeks early, and I weighed 8 pounds and 8 ounces or something. But I also caused some serious fucking wreckage, so.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, I tore it up.
I was C-section.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, you said all of you guys are. It's probably a good thing, because...
Well, yeah, once you get the C-section once, I think you got to do it, like, every time.
Yeah, I think you have to do it at least the next time now, so some of that's still held up. But yeah, we get him there, and he's doing great. I mean, he lost weight the first day, which is normal because they aren't as waterlogged and whatnot. But I brought my PSP. We had like our travel bag. I had my Kindle and the PlayStation Portable, and I had stuff to do while I was at the hospital because I was just gonna stay. I just stayed with her the whole time, other than going and grabbing food and stuff. Because they only gave me one free meal, which is kind of bullshit, but whatever. I don't think they expect people to stay there the whole time. But so I've only slept in my bed one night in the last like 4 nights, and I was sleeping on this fucking. It's like this quasi leather chair, but like the chair, the back of it. It like leans forward, so like you could pull the back of it up, and then it'll like pull the back down, and it makes it horizontal. And then you pull out it has like its own little, it's almost like a footrest thing, but it keeps going. And then you can pull out another layer of that footrest to make it like a 6 foot long little bed type thing. And then you kind of,
it's like a super lazy boy.
Yeah, kind of. It's like a weird mat almost. And it pulls out into that. And then I slept on that for three nights, I believe, or 2 nights. And that was awful, man. That was so terrible. Because, like, the room was just a little bit too cold, and I didn't have quite enough blanket to stay warm. And then every hour, these fucking nurses come in and, like... And you said something, man. You were like, oh, good luck sleeping from now on. And I was like, psh, joke's on you. The baby's super quiet. Because he was really quiet for, like, the first 8 hours of his life. Like, he only cried. I think he only uttered, like, 2 cries when he was born. And that was it. But, dude, when night came, oh, man. Because, like, they come in and they just, like, fuck with him. They come in and they're like, oh, we got to check his vitals. And then they bring him back and he's, like, freaking out. And then they open the door and they, like, do a bunch of noise and they, like, have to fucking check his armpit temperature and just, oh, man, everything was keeping that boy awake. So I slept like dog shit for the last, like, 3 days. Just whenever I could during the day, I would just occasionally just pass out for, like, 3 or 4 hours at a time. Like, once or twice every single day, and it was almost nothing other than that.
Mm-hmm.
And... yeah, and then I get out of we get out of the hospital, go get the pump, get all this other stuff taken care of, and I'm also in the middle of this. By the way, after the baby's born and during my the first day I'm there, I posted on Facebook, and then my mom calls me crying, saying that my grandma went into fucking cardiac arrest.
Oh, Jesus!
Earlier that day, and I was like, what? I was like, okay,
God,
where is she? And they're like, oh, well, she's at Utah Valley Regional Medical Center. And I'm like, so am I. I'll just go visit her, I guess. And so, like, a fucking car accident like that. And then I'm also getting emails because I'm refinancing my house and paying off all of our cars, which is funny. And, like, all the other debt that we have. Just kind of consolidating it into the house, pulling some equity out. So I'm getting emails from that. I'm getting calls about my grandma's lower left portion of her heart being dead, and then putting like a temporary pacemaker in, and like I'm just like, God, there's just so much shit going on at the exact moment. It's like, fuck,
God.
And yeah, then I brought the baby back, and it's been pretty good since then. He sleeps a ton. I mean, newborns usually sleep like 16 hours a day or something crazy. And he sleeps through the night pretty decently. I think last night he was woken up after it was like a 4.5 hour stint of sleeping because he needed to eat. But he just kind of lays with us, And it's been pretty good so far. And like the thing about about sleep. It's not that you can't sleep. It's that they won't let you sleep. You know, because you can, like, you could sleep, but you're just not allowed. You don't have the permissions to access the sleep. You know.
Well, before you were trying to pay your mortgage off early.
Yeah, and that helped me a lot because I mean. The sick thing, dude, the house, they appraised it, and this was like a full appraisal. Like, they walked through the house so they could see that, like, there have been some carpet incidents, like some stains, like the house is not as well put together as it should be in a lot of ways, and it still was totally worth like $208,000. So I could take out another $60,000 from it and still be just fine.
Dude, do it. Let's party.
Yeah, let's buy a lot. Let's buy
You'll
a
just
lot
have to
in
pay
between
for it
the
later.
tunes.
Bro, we could travel the world. And I say we. Yes, I mean we. You had to bring me along.
Yeah. Exactly. I'm sitting here playing it, and I'm like, okay, so the number 12 means everything. And the first fucking person we see is from Final Fantasy 13. I'm like, fucking A. What is this game? Like, what are we trying to say here? Like, what is going on? I thought the number 12 meant something, but there's not even 12 chapters. There's not even 12 characters. Like, what?
I don't know.
There's 7 chapters and an epilogue.
Well, you had a baby this week. I want to congratulate you on your son.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. And I hope you enjoy fatherhood, and I hope you don't abuse the child like you abuse your cat.
Yeah. He is louder, but it's more acceptable.
You want to throw him across the room less?
Yeah, not really at all. Dude, oh man, I gotta tell you about this. So, I was holding them, right, and I've done this a couple times. I've done it numerous times since, but he'll because babies are kind of blind, like they can't really see beyond like 6 to 8 inches away from them.
Yeah.
And when you pick him up and you hold him a certain way, he thinks it's time to start latching onto the titty and get some milk, you know?
Yeah.
So I did that, and then I held him up to my face, and he started he does this old man face looking thing where he closes his eyes and his wrinkly ass neck, just just looking around, and I put my nose there, and he latched on and he sucked on my nose for 2 or 3 seconds, and then he opened his eyes and he's just looking at me and just sucking on the nose, and then he pulls away and he's just deadpan staring at me, and then he just shits himself, just this super loud liquid shit, just, and then his face scrunches up a little, and it's the last couple little drops, and then he just stares at me. I was like, wow, what a flex move, man. This kid just fucking took me down and teabagged me. It's the equivalent of a teabag after a kill on Call of Duty or something, you know.
Oh my god!
I just thought it was so funny, and so now every once in a while, I'll just I'll let him bite my nose a few times. He's it's really weird, but
well, Schweiss, I think this is the percentage of Final Fantasy talk within this episode is probably the lowest we've ever had.
Yeah.
But hey, it's great catching up with you.
I've wanted to do a Final Fantasy episode for a really long time, and I actually started listening to your guys' show to kind of find which, personality in that fandom I should seek out. And I've been listening to your show for years now, and I've been these are the guys. But yeah, I just had to kind of build up my confidence to actually reach out and invite you, because it was pretty easy for me to get guests who I already knew. So yeah, reaching out to new people has been a little scary, but hey, these guys are super welcoming so far, so hopefully they keep that streak going.
Yeah, that's...
Well, don't piss us off.
Right?
If you piss us off, it's over. If you do that, you'll have to hear about it for the next 6 months from Joe every episode for about 5 minutes. Remember that?
Oh gosh, I guess you're right.
You remember that Andrew guy?
You'd be a real blemish on your series, man.
Yeah, I can't believe he didn't like my VR dance game, a DDR for Yuna. I can't believe it.
Fuck! All right, there's another one.
Yeah, I was gonna say, speaking of the clean show, we'll see about that.
All ages,
We'll
eh?
see. Like I said, I'd like a challenge.
Well,
Oh, this is gonna be one cocktacular challenge. So let's get the fuck going and have us a goddamn fucking titty twister time as we get the cunting
whoa!
amusement park play going. I can't fucking just do that. All right.
That was so natural. Yeah, it just rolled right off the tongue.
That didn't feel forced at all. That was good.
I don't know if titty twisting is really that vulgar, but maybe it is.
We'll find out. You'll get like a 2-star review that's like, you said titty twisting and you didn't edit it out.
Right. Yeah, that string right there will just be a bunch of bleeps and sound effects, and then titty twisting, and then bleep, bleep, bleep. That's the one clean part. Oh man.
Do we know what the thing on top of Waka's head is called?
I think it's just a cowlick,
hair?
isn't it? I mean, it's the cowlick from hell, but
Okay, I got a thrill ride idea based on Waka's hair.
I'm so ready for this.
All right. So, I'm not sure what this kind of ride is called. At Lagoon, it's the pirate ship, but it's like a giant ship on a hinge, and it just brings you up so that you're 90 degrees, and then you drop down, and it's like a gigantic swing with a ton of people on it. Gosh, I wonder what it's called in other places. Anyway, instead of a pirate ship, I'm just saying it's like 2 heads of Waka plus the hair, the weird quail hair. That's just the shape of either side of this gigantic swing.
oh, okay.
And we call it. It's Waka's Quail Hair Ride is my working title.
Working title. Wow.
I wish I could show you the picture I just drew.
I imagine 2 heads facing opposite directions and the hair cowlicks touching.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, I'm totally with you. It makes sense. It fits in with the canon, and yeah. No, totally.
Yeah.
And
Everybody's hanging out.
I like playing with the sense of scale of things. Like on some coasters, there might be characters who are human size, like your size, but then there's somewhere it's a gigantic thing, like you're riding on top of Waka's hair. That's awesome, man. No one's ever brought that idea up before, playing with scale that much. That is awesome.
And the line, you got to have just sound bites of Waka, John DiMaggio just going to town. Just all his supporting stuff. Getting you kind of hyped.
Loop.
Yeah, just a loop of 20 seconds of Waka so that you're driven completely insane by the time you get on.
Maybe that's what all the queue areas are just really annoying, just beat you down types of sound bites. They just keep repeating over and over until you're gonna love this coaster because we're not gonna be playing this for you anymore. Oh man.
Oh, I got one.
That's right.
I got one. So,
Okay.
not a coaster, just a little ride. It'll be like a 30-foot in diameter circle area, and you need to run around and you need to pick up the crystals. But while you're trying to pick up the crystals, these random little boards will come up, and they're all very padded, so it's like you're in one of those dual rings, where you spar with the sticks with the foam. It's foam pads, but they launch up super hard, and as you're trying to collect the crystals, they will just hammer you. And so you go out there, it's a solo game, you go out there and you try to pick up 10 crystals, and these ice shards are just coming up and just dominating you as you try to pick them up. So they spring up like a skateboard when you step on the end, and you're just trying to grab one and just...
Yeah.
You just get knocked out by this board.
That's awesome. People would totally try that. If they get knocked off, they want to get back in line.
Yeah.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Let's say we could mix it with like the Swiss Family Robinson ride at almost every water park ever, where you're like running across the little log things, but you're like jumping across platforms, and these things are just flipping up at random, just ready to just take you out mid-jump.
That sounds a lot more fun than it should, I think. Like, that's like maybe not the best moment in the game, but I think in reality, like making a safe obstacle course version of that, it sounds a lot more fun.
Yeah, and that's before you get to the parking lot, so everybody has to do it before they leave.
You have to earn your way in.
Yeah. You want to go home, you better get those crystals and watch out for those ice shards.
Wow. I wonder if there's anything we could do with sending, like Yuna's little sort of funeral dance thing on the water. Like, I wonder if that could be like part of like a like they do in Las Vegas, like those big like fountains. That's the word. Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah, fountain show,
fireworky things. I don't know, something like that would be kind of cool, even if it's not all the time. Like if it's only at sunset or something. It'd be really kind of cool having like a one-time only per day performance. With the spirits going off everywhere, and I don't know. That's another cool like iconic scene.
Yeah, like in the middle of the food court area, kind of like they have it at Disney, where you can kind of sit down at your, with your
like
$70 burrito, and you can just watch the show and tell yourself it's worth it.
What kind of food should we have? Do you guys have any ideas for like themed food?
Lots of calamari. I think it'd have to be like fish and sushi.
Yeah,
it's got to be a lot of Islander food, right?
Yeah, chocobo legs.
I think there's got to be something Lulu themed with like 2 large chicken breasts. It's some like roasted cactus or something on the side. I don't know. That's
the voluptuous Lulu platter.
2 large chicken breasts, slightly wrapped, half wrapped in some like seaweed.
Some sexy seaweed.
Yeah, on a black plate.
Classic.
Wow, that's what I got. That's what I got for a food dish. You just eat quail. Like that's just one of the items for Waka.
Yeah, it feels kind of wrong, It's like I'm eating one of my brothers. Oh man, we could do that. We could do that plate of spaghetti that the one people give him, like what is her name? Riku gives Tidus in the very beginning of the game, where he like is starving to death, and they just bring him out this like plate, and it just looks like spaghetti. It's like super cuisine style, like spaghetti, like perfectly al dente noodles, like delicious sauce, heavy on the meatballs, just spaghetti, and you have to eat it with your hands. Like there's no silverware for the spaghetti.
It's an immersive dining experience.
There's got to be one place called, like, it's Macarena Temple. I'm sorry, Macalania Temple.
Oh my God! Come on, Titus.
And that's like the big restaurant, but there is a room in there. It's called the Macarena Temple room.
And that song is just playing.
It has the song.
Oh my God!
It's Macarena themed. Like it's the only place in the whole entire amusement park that's not FF10 themed. It's the Macarena room in the Macalania Temple.
And all you do in there is dance, and then every time they say, "Hey, I Macarena," it's
Macarena Temple. Gosh, I can't believe that's in that game. I can't believe that's in that game.
Yeah, it's really random.
That's probably the most random thing in the entire series, actually. Like it's the only thing that's like that, as far as I know.
Most random cultural reference joke.
Yeah, reference. Yeah, that's true.
That outside of the context, or like outside of that song existing, that conversation makes no sense.
Oh, yeah.
And I think the closest thing to that is 15 with the cup
It's
noodles.
like, what would happen if Titus just went, "I" for a second, and someone be like, "What are you doing? What was that? Why did you just say "I"? Obviously, you misheard the man. I understand that, but why did you just go, "I"? Please, explain this to me. All right, sorry, Sean.
Yeah, I think that's probably the most like disconnected moment in the series, other than I think the cup noodle is the closest thing we've come to that since.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, referencing our reality, our pop culture.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
the ultimate flavor experience. Trademark 2019.
Remember to sit and eat that at a Coleman chair, at a Coleman table with a Coleman lamp beside you.
Yeah, there's no shame. It died that day. I think it died when I saw that picture of Noctis, like, with a cup noodle helmet on, and like instead of the armature swords flying around him, it was a bunch of forks with different meats. I was like, there it is. That's the death of Final Fantasy.
I can't imagine that Nissan has like a whole bunch of disposable advertising income because their product costs nothing. So, like, what do you think they gave them? Like 10 grand to put it in their game?
I'm
Like,
trying to
were
figure
they
out
that
who paid
desperate?
who, you know?
Yeah, Final Fantasy really needed some sort of ramen to be put in the game, and they couldn't design their own, so...
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, they paid top
Oh,
ramen.
my goodness.
Or top cup noodle, right? Yeah, cup noodle.
They didn't pay top dollar for it, but they did.
Nice.
Definitely all the drinks, they all have to be in like those glasses that are like almost a almost a sphere.
Uh-huh.
Every drink in the park has to be served that way.
The bar's going to be a mess, like from cleaning up all those, because it's not super practical. But hey, it's a living, right?
Yeah,
That's right.
every day at sunset, the Kilika part of the park, the Kilika part of the eating area just floods relentlessly. Just gets absolutely drowned.
That's how you send the message that the park is closing in 10 minutes.
Yeah,
just flood out the customers.
Exactly. That's how you get it. It's like, Sin will be attacking in 5 minutes. Please proceed to the nearest exit.
Oh, man.
Yeah, probably.
Okay, so now let's talk about Prima Vista.
Okay, so it's a pretty fun little upbeat piece, but it's not really enough to dig your claws into, I thought. I like it. It's just really short, and it's just kind of this, like, I don't know, just this upbeat little ditty that they tossed into the CD that it almost doesn't really have a place to me. Like, it seems weird to have it in here. It's not like the victory theme where it's like, well, of course they have the victory theme. It's the victory theme. It's just this weird deal. And I think
I agree with you. I think it's in like a weird part of the album. It's not really like a piece of music that I like beg to hear an orchestral version of live. It's a bit too marchy to really enjoy on its own. Like, I don't listen to band music by itself. So
You're not listening to like fucking Color Guard tracks and stuff.
No, I don't listen to Color Guard backing tracks too much.
Not often.
Personally,
I'll dab, but
yeah. Sometimes when I'm flipping the flags around and shit, but it's only in after my 6 hours of yoga and doing my push-ups. Sometimes, if I got time, I'll do the flag routine. But yeah, I like Dear Friends. It's very pretty and it's very nice. I think there's other FF9 tracks that I would have liked to have seen them explore. But we have like 3 other albums.
Yeah,
of this shit,
we've got time.
Yeah, we got time to hit those. Honestly, these are the only 2 Distant Worlds I've listened to. It's 1 and 2.
Same.
I think there's fucking 5 of them. But yeah, Dear Friends, nice piece, really pretty like classical guitar work that I really dig. So yeah, there's that.
You wish you could have played along. You and Dave could have planked along, but you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, me and Dave we could have been something. Let me tell you. Wish I could. Somehow I can't do it now. I don't
Just
know
get
why.
Dave to snort a line and like go fucking berserk on the guy that made away with this stuff. Of course.
Yes, of course. His stuff, yes, of course.
Come out, Lars.
Okay.
He's got like a trash can lid, and he's like slamming it against the wall of the apartment. He's like, I can smell the fear in your Swedish eyes. Some crazy
It's not even
ass
Swedish. It's Danish.
Danish, that's right.
Where's my little Danish friend? We're gonna smoke hash in the ground. That's a some kind of monster reference. Okay. Above,
You were my little Danish friend.
my little Danish friend. I wish I could be with my little Danish friend again. That's like a line from that movie, dude.
I wish I could wring his little Danish throat.
Okay.
Okay, so what do we have left? We got Final Fantasy Unlimited. We got the FF13-2 fragments before and FF13-2 fragments after. And then something tells me there might have been another 13 one, but I'm not sure.
Well,
And then
we did episode 1 and 2. So we did 13 episode.
we did
1.
episode 0 and episode 1.
Oh, that's right. Just why must they be odd? Why do they got to start from 0? Like when I count, I don't say like, or when I have Jace practice his numbers and he starts with 1, I'm not like no, 0, then 1.
Yeah, 0 is actually just the absence of a number. So it's
I guess,
not a number.
I guess that's true, but I mean, -1 is not. It's like not a number, but it's also really not a 1. That's what that is. It's like this is not a 1. But you just said it wasn't a number. I know, but it's more not a 1 than it is not a number.
You know, Schweiss, I go to Final Fantasy podcasts for math humor.
That's right.
That's where I go.
Welcome.
Welcome. I've seen one crime fully committed. And, oh, man, I'm not sure what I've talked about on the show because I'm, like, a little bit sheepish about, like, shitting on people while I'm in the middle of my apartment. But this is me in my car. So maybe I have, maybe I haven't. I was walking to these apartments with my roommates and their friends. And then my roommates, one of which I thought had a girlfriend and was about to cheat on her, said, "Hey, Joe, maybe you should, like, find an excuse on how to get back by yourself." And I was like, "Oh, jeez, all right, fine." So one of my roommates, like, left to go get laid, and the other ones were going to another apartment. I wasn't interested. And so I was just like, all right, I'm just like, I guess I'll go back. So I was walking back in downtown L.A., or just south of downtown L.A., which is not great, by the way. Walking back home like a mile in just like 3:30 a.m., and I saw a guy smash a bike lock open and steal a bike. I actually saw one crime fully committed. I saw a dude stealing a bike. And I just thought, wow. And there's nothing I'm going to do. Fuck that. I'm just going to keep on walking. And that's what the guy expected me to do. Because he looked at me. And then he got on the bike. And he rode off. And he was like in a sweater, too. I was like, you're ready to see like some gangbanger. Some guy with like really tatted up, like wearing, it's kind of just different. I wasn't expecting a guy like what looked like it was almost a turtleneck, like some like fashion forward guy with like tight jeans and a turtleneck stealing a bike. But I saw that.
He's just like, fuck it, man. I can't. My car won't start. I'm getting to work.
So I saw that. And then one time I was walking home from work, because sometimes I do that, and it's always fucking sketchy because I get home after midnight, but I'm walking down Figueroa, which is like in downtown LA, it's like a pretty main street. So on one side of the street, there's like the Staples Center, and there's the like LA Convention Center, and then there's a big like parking lot filled with, or it's not a parking lot, it's like a car dealership. So it's like a pretty safe side on the street on one side. I didn't know that on the other side it wouldn't be that way. And I was just like going to mix it up one night and walk on the other side of Fig. Mistake. by the way. It's like a decrepit Hooters, or like what was a Hooters is now just like covered in graffiti, like every inch of it. And when I was going past that, because I'd seen that Hooters from the other side of the street, I'd been like, oh, that's interesting. Wow. When I went past it, there's like an alcove in there. I saw two women just like, I heard some chattering. I had my headphones on, so I wasn't hearing that much. I was listening to a podcast or something. I heard some chattering going on, and then I saw one woman who was like skinny and one woman who's kind of like a big fat ass put on her pants. So I saw a lot. I did not want to see. I saw the big fat woman and the skinny lady. They were like hurriedly putting on their pants. And then as I was walking past them, so all I did was like stare forward because I was like, I don't want any part of this. I didn't see anything. I heard the words, "Thank you," as I was walking past them, and I just like kept going. So that was a weird moment. I saw two women in a dark, decrepit corner putting on their pants. One of them said, "Thank you," and I'm not sure if they were talking to me or if they were talking to the other person.
I mean, if they were talking to you, I mean, it's like, thanks for being decent. It's like, yeah, I mean, if you wanted decency, you wouldn't be getting dressed in a fucking hallway, like an alley in the middle of the city. Like, God. So, I mean, that kind of rules that out. I think they were thanking each other.
Oh, fuck. I've had some adventures here. I've told you most of them. But unfortunately, like, the podcast hasn't heard that many of them, so I feel like I might have to do some catching up if I keep on recording in my car. I should be able to do it. A lot of them concern my fucking roommates, who I will not throw under the bus, but I may joke about, and thus it's more appropriate to do this on a totally public and freely accessible podcast that thousands of people will listen to, as opposed to me, and doing that from the comfort and privacy of my own car, as opposed to saying it in the living room.
Yeah. I mean,
I think there's an important distinction.
Exactly, and they'll never listen to it. That's the beauty of it. They just won't. It just won't happen.
Just probably won't. Probably won't happen.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, probably.
So you find characters that sort of work with you. But you do get better overall. And like, I beat the game with Warrior of Light, who I wasn't really that good with in the beginning. I was just like, well, Joe's going to be playing the game for a while. He's not going to beat it, so maybe I'll beat it with a couple characters. And then I got to Chaos, and he like fucking laid down the law on me about 50 times. And I was like, maybe not. Maybe I'll beat it once, and I'll say, fuck you, I'm done.
a guy named Chaos laid down the law?
Yeah.
That's very ironic.
Yeah, it really is, yeah. And it's a 3-stage fight, just so you know.
Okay. So Mr. Chaos decided that there was got to be 3 evenly split levels in order to fight him at.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
And he is something else. I got to the point in the game where I removed the dodge function because I didn't need it. Like, it was a joke. And then I got to him, and I had to learn how to play the game all over again. Basically, I was like, all right, what's this dodge? What's this block?
Oh, fuck. Dude, I totally don't use those.
It's a face melt, and it's like the moon in FF4, but so much more. So much more brutal.
Why didn't you just grind?
I did. I ground on him, but like when you're doing these story campaigns, you can't really grind. Like, I could quit out and restart the whole thing. But
no, you restart the level over and over again, but you keep your XP.
Well, but here's the thing, though. When you fight, when you do a fight, you have to exit out, and then you have to fight them again to keep the XP. If you just hit retry, you don't keep the XP. It throws it away. So basically what I ended up doing is just fighting him.
You just have to keep dying?
Yeah, get to, like, whatever he allows me to, whichever stage he permits me to see, and then, like, let him just fucking destroy me. I say let him destroy me as if I could stop it. Sometimes I'm able to get to the 3rd phase. Sometimes I die immediately on the 1st phase. He's just, like, comes out of the gate, and I like turn around after talking to the coach, and they haven't even rung the bell yet, and he just fucking cold cocks me with an uppercut. And then he just goes like, he gets like 1 billion bravery points, and he just lays down this sick fucking attack that I can't dodge. He's like, yeah, I just won. But yeah, I was just like, get to where I could, do as much damage to that asshole as possible, and then die, then exit out, then rinse and repeat. The sucky part about exiting out, though, is it keeps everything. So like it keeps you get your experience, and that's great, right? But it also keeps your break status like bar. So if you used your like ultimate when you press R and square right before you died, you won't have that going into the next battle. So if that's the thing that keeps you alive, you're gonna die until you get enough of those fucking like blue bells on the ground to get it back up again, or do enough damage to get it back up again, and then when you exit out, you'll have it. So like it got to the point where I'd have like joke runs where I would just like try to get as far as I could, and then try to build my hog bar back up, my ultimate bar, and then I would exit, and then I would go in and like be like, all right, for real this time, I'm gonna kill him for real, and then it just like wouldn't matter.
So you would get real close, but then you would end up with blue bells.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
We're talking mitts in the oven here, and still no payoff. Not just mitts, plural, more than one mitt, and I would just get burned. Song, but I've always been more of an answers man. I love how intense it is, like how big it is. It's just one of those big fucking songs, and Susan Calloway kills it, as she does every single time. She sings anything, even if it's a song I don't really like. I'm like, well, her version's better than the original. Just don't like the song is all. This one, great. I'm surprised I put it as low as I did, to be honest, because it's one of my, it's up there. It's up there for me as far as Final Fantasy tunes go. Best vocal track they have in the whole series, and incredible version of it. It's the same as Final Fantasy 14's, but it's great. The only thing that was a little more in your face was like her when she was
speak.
Yeah, speak,
talk, eat,
and I was
sleep,
thinking like, God,
shit.
Yeah, I thought that too, dude.
Shit, plumbing, plums, plum, fruit, eat, shit,
eat shit. Eat shit, die. And then, like, fap, sock, bottom of hamper, laundry day. Pretend it's been there a while. It's just like everything you need right there, man. It's just I just thought of like Dave doing that song, and it just made me very happy. Dave's answers: eat, think, speak, shit, and then like an epic solo after he does like some kind of swear word. Fuck. Speak. Good track though, but I thought that was a little more in your face, and that's why I was like, it's not, I don't know, it's a little louder than normal in the mix.
And I think I can hear Susan Calloway going like, really? So I could ever
eat.
All right, eat, sleep, dream. I don't know. Yeah, I had the same note, dude. I was like, ooh. First of all, I don't remember that intro in the original song, if it was that long or anything like that. I don't think it is. But I thought the intro was really fucking cool, and the song is really good. The lyrics are what the lyrics are, but they're not as bad as other Final Fantasy songs, so I feel the same way about Distant Worlds. There's some like weird, like goofy lyric parts, but it was fine. Because the melody kind of like makes up for everything else, because it's just a beautiful piece of music.
Yeah.
And then I put, yeah, the reason it's not my number one, if it didn't have the weird dorky talking part, I would have probably placed it as number one.
Yeah, and I mean,
the talk part is dorky.
I get it.
I can live with it because the rest is awesome. But.
Yeah, and it's like I get it. It's supposed to be the goddess, like teaching you how, like as her child, teaching you how to live. But I'm like, really? Really? Like we know to do these things. Like you should be teaching us like it should be learn how to balance a checkbook. Learn how to sew. Learn how to drive stick shift.
Save
Pay
for
off
retirement.
Save 5%. Don't get any credit card debt.
Great game. It's a classic. It's amazing. I'm not ragging on it. I just don't think it's this, absolutely perfect masterpiece. I think it is a masterpiece, but I think there's other games in the series that I enjoy more on a personal level.
Okay. All right. That's all right.
So right above 6 is 13.
If you like... Oh, my God.
I didn't... I was about to say, I'm surprised at the level of respect I can hold for you with your rankings. And then you do that, and I'm like, ooh, no.
So... the thing is, when I played Final Fantasy XII, it put a really bad taste in my mouth, and I was really pissed off, and I said, this isn't Final Fantasy when I played 12. Like, the battles are boring, there's no sweet music, these characters are bland, everything looks brown, like someone just took a giant shit on my screen.
Okay, that's good.
And then I played 13, and all of a sudden, it's like, hey, I'm a soldier. Hey, I'm a black guy. Hey, we're going to team up at the start of this game. We're going to have really dramatic music and fight a scorpion boss. I'm like, this feels more like Final Fantasy to me.
Yeah, I don't like waiting on those things. It's lame.
Yeah, we live in an age where we don't wait anymore, so, like, come on.
I'm also not a barter type person. Did I have the barter conversation on this show?
I think so. I think you did.
Okay. All right, this is America. This ain't the fucking Middle East. We don't barter. Stop bartering. Fucking stop bartering at giant chain stores.
Oh, yeah, at chains, yeah.
That have no way. At a giant chain, all right, you cannot control the prices. The only one who controls the prices is the boss man. The big boss man in another state. Okay? Don't fucking barter. No bartering. People, stop bartering.
Yeah.
Bartering is the mark.
Like a pawn shop, and that's what that thing is about. But
yeah, that's true. But a pawn shop is shitty. A pawn shop is a shitty part of society. Okay? They pay criminals and like drug addicts that steal from their families they give them money, and then they sell that shit when those people don't pay back the loan. So like, no, like nothing about a pawn shop is like morally. I find pawn shops to be like morally questionable, just like the whole idea of it. But like the attitude is also really bad, and then also they make bartering a part of American society, which I don't think we should have.
Same thing. I'm going to do that. Like,
I disagree. Free market works. They put up the list price, and then you decide whether or not you're going to buy it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can buy it there, or you can buy it somewhere else. You don't have to fucking be in someone's face about it.
Well, I mean, you don't have to be an asshole just because you're bartering.
Every barterer is immediately an asshole, Schweiss. There's no move where there's like, oh, those kind barterers. Even if they are kind, the fact that they're trying to barter with you makes them an asshole. Immediately.
Nah, I don't know about that. I think you've been in California for too long, buddy.
No. I had this opinion in Utah when I was working shitty food places in Utah. Schweiss.
Well, yeah, but that's a retarded example.
It just happens a lot less over there, but it was just as annoying.
it's a bad example because I'm talking about it in an environment that's not a corporate price structure. It's whatever the fuck you decide you want to charge for that thing that you're trying to sell to get out of your house at your yard sale. Like, the whole point of a yard sale isn't to make a bunch of money. It's to clear the junk out that you don't fucking want. And so in that situation, I think it's totally appropriate because it's like, well, what do you want to do? Do you want to keep this thing that you're trying to sell, or do you want to sell it for a little less? Like, it's up to you. It's not like they, decided had a list price for what does this go for at yard sales. They just fucking threw a number on there. Or the bell going off and him not being concerned about it by deleting because it deletes the past that he doesn't remember because the bell went off. I'm like, what? Sitting here playing this game, and I'm like, hey, this story is trash. All right?
So you tell me it's stupid.
The story is, yes. The story is pretty bad.
It's got a choke of a rapist in it. It's got like a weird green child that keeps growing up too fast.
Yeah. So Chocobo teams up with Sherma, a white mage, and Raffaello, who is a boy who came from the sky. It was like a meteor that fell down, and there was an egg in there, and he was hatched from it. And this guy is capable of creating labyrinths of mystery. So every time the bell of oblivion rings in this town, somebody's fucking memory gets taken away from them. And it's like mid-sentence, too. They'll be like, oh, yeah, I was totally about to get this awesome item located in, and then,
Ding.
And then, they're like, man, this song, isn't this a great song? I don't remember what I was talking about, but man, this is a great Metallica song.
Wait, what was I saying?
Yeah. And then, they forget their memory, and you have to go into their mind, basically. You have to go into this dungeon that is representative of their lost memory.
Use like the same sprite templates for the player characters. So if you look at the sprites from the Saga games, they're the exact same shape and proportions as the Final Fantasy 4 and 5 sprites. So basically they just like copied their sprite sheets and then just like changed them in Paint.
So wait, was this game released on Super Nintendo? Because we played it on Game Boy.
So this is on Game Boy, and then the Saga series continued on to Super Nintendo eventually. And those straight up just look like Final Fantasies of the era. They're using the same sprites.
Were there any Final Fantasy games on Game Boy prior to this? Or even after this? Like, did the original Game Boy have official Final Fantasy games outside of Saga?
There was one Final Fantasy Adventure, which I think came out after this. Yeah, it came out after this. And then that led to a spin-off series and became the Mana series. So both of these Final Fantasy Game Boy series led to spin-off series of different RPGs, but Joe and Caleb played the other one because in Japan it was originally called Final Fantasy, which I really feel like is splitting hairs. Like, this is... I think if they're going to review that one, might as well do this since they're using the same sprites, the same composer, the same director who worked on FF2. Like, I think this is... If you're bothering to go through the whole series to claim you did it all, might as well do it. But I understand, hey, it's our hard cutoff. It wasn't called Final Fantasy in Japan.
It's important. I think we can all agree here. We have the worst episode of Ultima Final Fantasy for the year. Now, how does one make a bad episode of Ultima Final Fantasy? That's a trick question. You don't. But you do make ones that are slightly below what you would deem as average episodes of Ultima Final Fantasy, which is, of course, miles ahead of other European Union dodging Final Fantasy podcasts. But
yes, of course. Hashtag Brexit.
That's right, yeah. I don't blame you, because, come on. But anyway, 2 nominees. We decided to trim it down this year. It was so hard to choose between such a great lineup of podcasts. We decided we landed on this year in Square Enix 2003 and the Distant Worlds music episodes, both for sound quality / audio issues, which of course rare these days, and when they do happen, they are very blatant and offensive to the ear holes. And with 59% of the vote, Distant Worlds music takes the cake as the worst episode of 2018.
Oh. Schweiss, Now, I was so proud to be nominated in both categories this year. These were both my episodes. Now, Distant Worlds Music is a special one because it was the first one where we were both recording on separate Zoom H1 microphones. This episode, by the way, brought to you by Zoom. Turns out, by the way, Zoom, a Japanese company, assembled in China, though. And the design I'm using is copyright 2015. Zoom, all rights reserved. And just to let you know, the micro SD and micro SDHC logos are trademarked, and all trademarks are registered trademarks and registered trademarks are property of their respective holders. The world needs creators, people willing to contribute something original, inspiring, and powerful. And so that's why we use the Zoom H1 handy recorder. The features include the XY mic design capturing perfect stereo images, assuming both of your mics work, which Schweiss's do not.
Perfect stereo.
Yeah, perfect mono on one side. So Joe has to pan one of his channels all the way over so that they have the same amount of noise.
Yes.
There's also that Zoom is really old, but it has lasted like a few years, though, to be fair to Schweiss.
Yeah, it's recorded a lot of hours of podcast.
Yeah. There is a low-cut filter and audio level controls, USB microphone function. I don't know what that function is, though. Records on micro SDHC cards up to 32 gigabits and has 10 hours of operation on one AA battery. And the package includes, by the way, an H1 handy recorder, a micro SD card, one AA battery as well. So anyway, that's the end of our sponsorship.
Zoom H1. Yeah. Everyone loves a handy. So I mean, we all know. Humbly, we accept that we are the greatest Final Fantasy podcast in the history of mankind. There may be a couple beautiful, summer wench podcasts that you really hit it off with and you love, and you're
summer wench,
a summer fling. You might find one that you're like, oh my god, this is amazing. But you know how many of those other shows would use the phrase summer wench? None of them. Okay, that's because no one would use that.
Yes, those summer wenches.
Yeah, those Randy summer wenches, Randy. You just gotta look the other way and look at the old Ultima, all sturdy and putting out reviews like it's going out of style. That's your winter wench right there, is Ultima Final Fantasy.
That's right. Your winter wench, always there when you need her.
Exactly. When you need some warmth, we're there.
That's right.
With our arguably much higher than needed fat percentages. So, the nominees for...
hold on. Can we announce that you weigh more than me now and that now you're the fat host? Thank you. God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean...
I just want to do that now. So, I'm sure there's audio record of you calling me a fat fuck throughout these years. And now...
Well, I mean, you got me by like 5 pounds.
The tables have turned.
From the neck up, I probably still look skinnier.
Really?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
I don't really gain that much weight in the face. I mean, I do when I lose a bunch of weight and I look like super gaunt and like edged and sculpted my face, but... But
hey, something about a scooter is happening.
Yeah, Jace wants a Tudor scooter. That's what he calls the toaster strudels. It's pretty funny, the old Tudor scooter. I just imagine, like, propelling by flatulation, my old Tudor scooter.
Go ahead, Schweiss. Give him a Tudor scooter.
Powered by beans.
Anyway, luckily with my potato diet, I've now dropped. I've now dropped below, and Schweiss with his beer every weekend diet has.
It hasn't worked out quite the way I expected it to. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
No, I mean, Adam Carolla mentioned, like, if you do any one thing and stick to it, you should be fine. That's not true of the beer every weekend diet.
Also, the most important thing, I guess, is Chocobo's Mystery Dungeon, everybody. New trailer out for that, which I don't want to watch, because fuck that game. Sorry. I don't want to fucking I don't want to deal with that game anymore. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to hear about it. I think it sucks. I think the two newest remasters in the Final Fantasy games that Square Enix is putting out, I think they're terrible games. Not terrible games. One's bad, one's terrible. And, yeah, I mean, they could just be remastering the other games, the main series games, putting those on there, getting the games that we can't get anymore, like Crisis Core and shit like that. But no, we have to put the resources into Chocobo's Mystery Dungeon, everybody. Thank you, Square Enix. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely... Do you think that Everybody is a better game than Crystal Chronicles, though?
No.
Really? You like Crystal Chronicles more than Chocobo's Dungeon?
Yes.
What?
Yes.
God,
absolutely. Dude. Not even a question. Not even a fucking question.
I can't agree with that. That's crazy talk.
It's not. It's the most sane thing I've ever said.
Yeah. The most sane thing right there.
The most sane.
God, how much do you hate Chocobo's Dungeon? Like, is that like bottom 5?
I fucking hate it. Yeah, it is bottom 5. Next up, fucking Final Fantasy 15 Kingsglaive.
Oh, come on. That's just rude.
You know what? It's King's... it's King's Gooch now.
Oh,
that's what it is.
Gooch.
Final Fantasy 15 King's Gooch.
That's a much better name. That's how you sell a movie. Like, if they would have called Spirits Within King's Gooch, that would have been like... You're like, well, I mean, it's rated T or it's rated PG-13, but fucking, I'm going to see this King's Gooch movie. Like, how can you not go see a movie called King's Gooch?
But yeah, I actually took a nap right after I finished listening to this thing. So, when you said boring, I went, yeah, so boring I fucking went to sleep. And I'm not a man who takes naps very often. Naps catch up to me. Naps force me into their submission. I never set out to take a nap, and anytime I have has been an utter failure. But this thing, this short story actually made it possible. So
wow. There you go.
I recommend it. Much like the movie Mary Poppins. It is in fact a sleeping pill in media form. So I recommend. Oh, also the sequel to Mary Poppins, also a sleeping pill. I actually nodded off at the theater. What the fuck is it about Mary Poppins? I don't know, man. I'm not the only one who falls asleep to Mary Poppins every time. It's a good movie, but I'm like I'm out every time. Every time I watch that movie, there's something about it. It's like I start hearing about Tuppence, and then I'm laid out.
Tuppence is like a sleeper cell word. It's not that you're going to sleep; it's that you're becoming like a Russian sleeper agent. You're like going and assassinating some high-profile politician.
I'm a Manchurian candidate. Yeah, it's like Tuppence.
Yeah, it's weird because the last few were really good. You know, the last set of Final Fantasy 13 novellas that we listened to, I thought were pretty damn solid, and they give us a lot of. It kind of filled in the cracks with the 13 verse that had yet to be really explained, and it was just kind of like, oh, I mean, it doesn't really matter how they got from here to here, but then that story is like, no, it does. Here it is.
Mm-hmm.
And this one's just kind of boring. Yeah, it's kind of dull. I don't know. It's no Kids Are All Right, though. I'm not like fucking seething with hatred as I'm trying to read this thing where he's talking about like driving a car with no windshield and like the bugs, and I'm just like, Jesus fuck, what am I doing right now? Like what in God's name am I doing with my fucking night? I'm just reading this fucking book.
Twice we only have 3 books left.
This escape chute on the side of the building. I'm just like, ooh, that's so fucking dumb. What kind of secret escape hatch is outside of your building? I just imagine like a fucking like a shitty slide at a park, or some metal slide, and he's just tearing down this thing at Mach speed because it's on a fucking skyscraper. You know? Either that or it's like it's a water ride and he's got a tube, and the whole time down he's just like, woo! You know, he's having the time of his life trying to secretly escape.
Oh, just like the rug that's underneath his chair, his rolly chair in his office, is really just like the fucking rug he has to put in his water slide in order to fucking... Oh, yeah. My God.
Yeah, like it's not even a fucking, it's just a hole with a rug over it, you know. He just like slides his wheelchair over there, and like the wheelchair just, when it feels that it's no longer on solid ground, it just like fucking ejects this floating device, this flotation device, and he just is sitting in his wheelchair floating down this water ride.
Dude, I bet it's like fucking flush with the staircase that you have to climb up it. It's just going around in circles like, oh man, the G-forces he's getting by the time he's down near the bottom of that fucking thing are crazy.
Yeah, he's gonna. That's part of the escape plan. You know, he lands and his wheels. He's going so damn fast, no one could ever possibly catch up to him. He's just.
Oh man, I'd love that part. I'd love to see him fly out of the opening.
Yeah,
that's what I would love to see. Just
be one of those. Really.
Oh fuck, dude! That's why he's in the wheelchair now. Fucking broke his fucking bones after flying like 15 feet through the air.
Yeah, it's not because of the geostigma. Everybody knows that doesn't put you in a wheelchair.
No.
It's because he broke every bone in his body being Evel Knievel off of that fucking water slide that he attached to the side of his fucking skyscraper.
Yeah, fucking spinal injuries. You know how hard it was for him to stand up in Advent Children?
Yeah, that's an Oscar performance right there. An Oscar winner right there. That was some fucking willpower to stand up.
Fuck.
Guy's got more pins in him than fucking Hellraiser. I can just see it too, like when he flies out of the thing. It's that little anime thing, you know, where after he goes off into the distance, you just get that like bright flash and then the sound.
Like I'd love a little twinkle star as he goes into the distance. Ding.
Yeah.
The twinkle star, of course, meaning that, you know, he's hitting the ground somewhere over there. He's fucking fucked up after that shit.
Yeah, yeah.
You think some, like, tree branches slowed his fall?
I think so, yeah.
I think so.
God, yeah. So it's not that bad. Nothing.
No, it's not that bad.
Few things that I've had to endure for the show have ever been that bad. I think Turk's Kids Are Alright is pretty fucking low on the totem pole of things that we've done in the name of Ultima.
Oh my god, dude, it was so unreadable. I remember what I had to do now. Schweiss, I don't know if I told you this, because I don't know if I had the courage at the time to tell you how I made it through that novel. But there's like a Google text-to-voice thing. Okay. So it wouldn't work in certain ways, so what I did was I copied and pasted one page at a time onto like a notes document. And then I let Google read it to me while I was driving around town. And I was just in pain, dude. It hurt so bad to have, like, fucking robot voice read me a terribly written book.
Oh, my God, dude. That is fucked. That is hilarious that you had Google read it to you. And it's...
I just did not have... I tried, dude. I did not have the patience to read that fucking thing. It was so fucking bad.
So fucking bad.
God.
Well, let's shift gears completely. Hey, Steve, how's it going, buddy?
Hey, how's it going, Greg? Thanks for having me on your podcast.
I mean, you're the co-host. You're my trusty sidekick. You're the Andy Richter to my Conan O'Brien.
I'm your engineer.
Right, that's true. You're the one with the good mics because I'm broke as fuck.
Woo! It is your pop filter, though.
Rip, and you're the one using it.
Actually, nobody's using it right now because
true.
I'm lazy. Also, I know how to use mic technique so I don't pop into my mics.
Oh, we're all going to be watching for that one.
So Steve, what's your history with Final Fantasy music and this album?
So I've never played all the way through a Final Fantasy game, and I very rarely listened
you beat Soul of Rebirth. I count that.
That does not count. I've very rarely listened to more than 15 to 30 seconds of any Black Mage's song, depending on how... I just popped right into my mic. Depending on how long the AMV Hell clip was.
Any other comments on Battle Scene 2 before we move on? Apparently not.
No, I'm done talking about this crappy song.
All right, I'm done talking about this crappy song.
All right. Next up on the list, we have Fight with Seymour. Okay, so most of you nerds are wrong about this one. This is one of the best pieces on the album.
Go ahead.
It's all right. From Final Fantasy X.
It's really just me and Joe who are wrong.
Yeah, so really just Joe is wrong. So here's the thing.
No, I agree with Joe, though. Final Fantasy X sucked.
This I don't want to hear. This I don't want to hear at all.
Do not.
You know what? I'm actually going
to... Agent of Chaos has taken a step too far.
Yeah, and as far as Final Fantasy V, like, I had played the game as a preteen. Like, I had played pretty much all of the first 10 games, like, before the age of 13. So I was very familiar with the series, but I hadn't beaten most of them until having a Final Fantasy Renaissance in recent life, where it's like, oh, I'm not gigging as much because we're recording and rebranding. Guess I've got some time to play some JRPGs.
Final Fantasy Renaissance was my favorite sub-series.
That sounds pretty cool, actually.
Yeah, I mean, that does actually sound very much like the sort of thing they would name a game.
Yeah.
It totally does.
It's
another
just like
another game for Joe to play.
I think Final Fantasy Renaissance sounds like their Metroidvania type game. And that would make $1 million.
Right. Or
I don't think they wouldn't use like real English words like Renaissance, though. It'd be some made up.
It'd be like all the bullshit names like an 11, like Vanadil. That doesn't sound like bullshit.
Final Fantasy Renaissance.
Oh, that's it. That's it.
Final Fantasy Renaissance, Dude Kime.
Yeah.
Dude Kime 2, 13.
And the box art is just a picture of Renoa, but like kind of dressed as the Mona Lisa.
Everything about this sounds terrible and something like they would definitely do.
It would suck ass, but they would do it.
It's actually a tower defense game, guys.
Oh
no.
All right.
I really hope they don't listen to our podcast, because when that game comes out, we're all going to feel so terrible.
They already made a tower defense one, Steve. Joe played it.
Yeah, I played. Literally a tower.
It's a first-person shooter.
So wait, you're defending the tower? So does that mean that you're God and they're the heroes who are coming to kill you?
He didn't play those games.
You're a princess, and you have a tower. And you got to keep building the tower up, and each floor has people that defend the tower. If they get to the top of the tower, you lose.
Sorry.
Like, they're like little Final Fantasy characters on the way up, not playable characters, but like the monsters and stuff. Very, honestly, like a really fun game, but like crazy that's a game. It's just insane, but...
So wait, you're building a tower full of monsters to stop who?
People.
Okay. So yeah, you are like You are the boss who turns out to be God and also the devil at the same time, who needs to be vanquished in order to bring peace back to the world.
Yeah, but you stop him from getting to the top of the tower.
Yeah, okay. So.
Yeah, you're like a bad princess, and then at the end, of course, you have a change of heart.
Oh, okay.
But yeah,
you're a bad princess. Final Fantasy Bad Princess doesn't sound like a game they would make.
No, instead it's Final Fantasy My Life as a Dark Lord.
Here's what it is. It's a Final Fantasy X-3 Bad Princess. I know that game is already like pictured in your head, and you're.
They replace the battle system with a massage mechanic.
So it's also a sequel to Dead or Alive Extreme Beach Volleyball.
There's a massage mechanic in 10 too.
Is there really?
Yeah.
I thought it was all like dress-based combat.
There's a mini game.
So bad. All right, I can't think about this anymore.
All right, so let's go with hey, we're at the number one song. Let's go through this ranking. Hey guys,
heyo.
From the bottom to the top. Battle Scene from Final Fantasy 1. Battle Scene from Final Fantasy 2. Fight with Seymour from Final Fantasy 10.
Should be called Battle with Seymour.
Whatever. Genova.
Battle with Genova.
From Final Fantasy 7.
EATS.
Battle Theme from Final Fantasy 6. Those Who Fight Further from Final Fantasy 7.
Battle Further.
Yeah, further.
Force Your Way from Final Fantasy 8. Dancing Mad from Final Fantasy 6. Flash on the Big Bridge from Final Fantasy 5. But the best song on the self-titled Black Mage's debut album, according to this panel of experts and Steve's random chaotic votes...
Shop Theme.
Yes, the Shop Theme. Making a surprise comeback. Steve, play that beauty for us.
Oh, no, I don't actually have it specifically mapped to anything. I just have an annoying category somewhere.
That's unfortunate.
Damn it.
Oh, I don't even have that anymore. Oh, no.
Oh, no. So the number one song on the album is actually The Decisive Battle from Final Fantasy... Actually, wait, hold on. It's Eyes on Me from Final Fantasy 8. In a surprise upset with a steel chair, knocking out the decisive battle. Eyes on Me. Taking the victory.
The Megadeth version.
Yeah, the Megadeth version of Eyes on Me. A shocking upset, but I mean, Dave Mustaine, man of many talents...
Dave Mustaine's Eyes on Shop Theme.
We're all wishing him a speedy recovery from cancer so he can continue making these awesome metal covers like Eyes on Me. Perhaps one of the best Megadeth song, if not the best Megadeth song.
Perhaps. One of the best. That's for sure.
Yeah, I like this one a lot. It's very solid. I feel like it's a pretty good representative of what I wish this album was instead of what it is. So I guess I'm a little surprised it won, especially since on the last panel I was on, my fifth place also won that one. So that's a very easy way for me to start predicting what's going to win.
Whatever I think is most in the middle.
The middle rises to the top.
Yeah.
So... go ahead, sorry.
Oh, I don't know if I had anything. I just needed to make another noise.
Oh,
I love that.
That's why I have a soundboard, just so if I'm like, I need to make sounds.
As Dumbledore ponders with his gigantic brain.
Oh, I feel better.
And, as a kid, I fantasized about finally defeating my stepdad, taking him down, and obtaining freedom for myself. And this was the song in my head. This was the battle theme for me achieving freedom in life, for achieving happiness, for taking on a villain. This was the song I associated with that plan as I strategized, figured out how I would use my weapon, which for me was just going to be a metal rod, and like how I would best use it, how the terrain of the house was set up so that we could best restrain him. This was the song in my head. Obviously, this doesn't have the same meaning for everyone else, because no, not all of you went through my specific experience. It's kind of the magic of music. People have different experiences with different songs that aren't necessarily the composer's intent at all. But because I have that nostalgic feeling, and because I recognize just the sheer quality of the composition, I ranked it number 2. But even with my extreme nostalgia, I do acknowledge that, the battle themes from 7 are still, like, actual better pieces. But yeah, there's my rant on the decisive battle.
It sounds like it was a decisive battle of some sort, right?
I mean, look, I'm here.
Yeah.
I got away. I did okay.
Jeez, wow, man. That's like a real-life boss battle setup right there. Like
that's why I had a boss theme for it.
Yeah, dang.
Like, I did all the grinding, made sure my inventory was good, set up my party beforehand.
Stocked up on potions? Greg, why do you have a pocket full of feathers right now? Oh, I got a plan.
In case one of you dies.
In case one of you dies, I've got a fucking feather.
So that was the story of how Greg lost a childhood friend.
Oh, God.
Yeah,
hey,
so...
that shows you the power of the internet, though, that you're just, like, casually on message boards, and they're like, oh, let's get you out of there. Like, let's change your life. That's... Dang, man. That's powerful.
Yeah, and I think that's just, it's sort of a mentality I've sort of taken throughout my entire life of just a bad situation rather than just letting it consume my life, being like, okay, how do I get out of this? So, there was a time when I had to climb out of homelessness, living in Cleveland in the winter without a place to stay, sleeping under a tree one night when I had no place to go, and just, climbing out of poverty and not refusing to give up. So, like, that's just a core part of my being. And honestly, this is kind of a decisive song in a way where before that I was very defeatist, give up, kind of a depressed kid where just I assumed my life was going to be terrible for the rest of my life. But then when people told me you need to get out of the situation, like when I realized the situation I was in was wrong, it wasn't the way the world was supposed to be. Not everyone was going through that. When that clicked as this is not correct, this isn't the way it's supposed to be, I made the decision I am going to change it because it's not supposed to be like this.
Isn't what ultimately happened with that your mom caught wind of the plan and said, oh, shoot, this actually is a serious situation and got you and your sister out of there?
What actually happened was she found out about the plan and didn't want to be in the midst of combat. She's like, you know what? I should probably... Because she knew she wouldn't be able to stop me from it because she would be too busy getting hit. So she's like, you know what? I should probably just bounce before, like, this gets really chaotic. And it didn't come to that, but we were ready. We practiced. We trained. Like, we did our grinding. We were ready to throw down.
Greg used elaborate heist scheme. It was tangentially effective.
Hey, it ended up working in the long run. It worked in an unexpected way where we didn't have to fight, but, we were ready, and I am very confident. As someone who's been in a lot of fights in my life, the training that we did and how much better we got with our weapons, which, like, honestly, we were pretty fucking dangerous. Like, it would honestly be more difficult for us to not kill him. But we got good at it, and I got out of the situation. So, hey, mission accomplished as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
That needs to be an enemy in the next Final Fantasy. 10-year-old with a chunk of rebar.
Fucking mess you up, man.
I was gonna say you probably didn't have to train so hard if you guys had just played Triple Triad and refined some cards.
Stand back, Bernie. I have a blue eyes white dragon.
Something extremely infuriating.
What's that?
Maybe. So that Super Nintendo that had 6 and, a few other games that I didn't love quite as much, but, there was some good ones. Not all of them are on the SNES Classic or whatever. That was sold at a Boy Scout yard sale for a total of $20. So I no longer have it.
Oh, man.
Against my will, by the way. I wasn't like, yeah, let's get rid of this.
How did it come to pass? Was it the parents?
Oh, yes.
Oh,
yes.
Don't they know? Don't they have their own little collectibles? Like, that's something people do. They're like, oh, we can't open these hot cars. They're going to be worth something in 40 years. Like,
I don't know.
That was
my dad had a lot of rocks for a while.
Oh.
But I mean, you can find those on the ground.
Yeah, I was like, it doesn't sound like they're collectors.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. So there is.
Yeah.
What did you? Yeah. I heard you about to say something, and then I think I cut you off, and then Caleb cut you off, and it was amazing.
This is the most important thing on the planet, okay? And this thing is a joke. That is a comeback to something you said 3 minutes ago.
Bring it on.
You didn't like the trance. Would you say that you are transphobic? Burn. Sorry, go ahead.
I guess I would, and I hope all of my Oregonian friends listen to this. I am, in fact, transphobic. All of my friends in Oregon, I just want that to be clear.
It was very clear. It was silent on either end. Great clip.
So 2 is the last one I beat. I beat that last week.
Okay.
And 9 I haven't played in several years. Probably closer to a decade than not. And 2, I played Dawn of Souls version, so there's also that.
Oh, so it's like a regular Final Fantasy then.
It's like kind of like playing a normal game.
Okay.
Although at the beginning you do have to like beat the shit out of yourself for a bit.
It's like that scene in Liar Liar is what it reminds me of.
But I like after a couple of hours like where I wasn't getting destroyed by even random enemies, it got to the point where it's kind of like the level up mechanic was very satisfying because I knew exactly if I was like, oh, I'm low on like this one particular thing is lacking in this character. I knew exactly what to do. And I could kind of just do that as I was walking from one place to another. And then I think one of the Patreon people actually came on and said the trick of when you go to the inn, just use all your MP healing yourself, and then it's way cheaper.
Yeah.
So I did that from the jump.
I want to say
Yeah,
we've
that's
done
good.
that, but I don't honestly remember if I had that thought. I probably went to the inn like when it was the absolute last resort.
Yeah.
And I was probably already out of MP.
Yeah, and you walk in and he's like flipping a coin. He's like, "Oh, interesting. You need to come to the inn.
You're looking a little
Feeling
battered. I see your
You need a little
pockets are
place to
full.
stay?
I see that coin pouch on your side is nice and full to the brim there. I don't think you should be carrying that much extra weight around given how beaten up you are. I think you should slide half of that over here. Please, it's for my little sister's school, and she's not going to get any of it if you die. So
Yeah, it's for Marlene's schooling.
yeah, it's for Marlene's schooling. Yeah, well, I mean, Marlene's not going to get anything if you don't go lay down in this bed for a few hours and get your health back.
Funny.
Fucking cutthroat, man. Damn.
My number 5 is 15.
Hey, welcome to the club.
Yeah, and I think the thing about it is that in many ways it's the exact opposite of 4, where there's a lot of iffy stuff kind of leading up to the ending, and then the ending is great.
Mm-hmm. The ending of 15 is amazing. And so yeah, I'm all here with you, man. I don't I have no qualms with the 15 being in the top 5 of anybody's Final Fantasy list.
It's fine. It's whatever. I mean, I see all sorts of people after the Patriots win another Super Bowl. Suddenly they're Patriots fans. It's the most recent FF. It's cool. It's fine to be in their top 5.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing wrong with jumping
Did I
on
say it
board.
was number 5? I meant it was number 1. Damn it.
Oh, even better. Got that Noctis number 12 shirt,
Yeah. My fifth Crown's Guard. That's me. Or whatever they're called. Kingsglaive. God damn it. Really
Crown's Guard.
That's pretty close. It's pretty close. If I looked at them and heard kind of their general job description and had to come up with a name for it,
The Crown's Guard.
Yeah,
that's pretty good. I think they'll use that in 16. You should.
Yeah, I hope they
copyright
do.
that. Yeah, trademark that shit. Crown's Guard, Final
I'll
Fantasy 15.
I'll change my name to it.
There you go. Victor Crown's Guard.
My name is already basically half that. It's perfect.
Exactly. It really is. Yeah, go get it legally changed. You need to change yours to that, and our buddy Crinitol needs to change his to Crinitol.
That's true. We did.
Oh, and our other buddy Bill Mardigan needs to change his name to Bill Mardigan.
And Skull Heidi and Shinru as well.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Legal name changes.
Here's how we know. We went to the FF convention and Crinitol was there. We hung out with him a lot, and I tried so hard to call him by his actual name, and it just it just didn't happen. Like, it did not stick. It was just Crinitol the whole time.
Well, it's hard because, like, for 7 million hours of FF11, we called the man Crinitol, and he sounds like he does in real life. So it's like, fuck, it's Crinitol.
Same guy,
same dude,
and he was whatever class he was in FF11 in real life, too.
Exactly.
Right?
I'm like, don't start with that Corey shit. It's Crinitol. I don't care what your parents wanted when you were born. They were wrong. Name just doesn't fit you,
5 and 15 right next to each other. One thing that I drew as a connection between the two is they're both games where you are, like, to a lesser extent than certainly the first couple, designated as the Warriors of Light. Certainly not that much in 15, but it is 4 guys doing basically that. And I think those are the only 2 games where you also meet the previous Warriors of Light. Because in 5, Galoof and the wolf guy and the other king and Bartz's dad are the Warriors of Dawn or something like that. And then in 15, King Regis and Kor and Sid and one other guy are like the previous 4 guys. And
wait, was Kor one of the previous guys?
I thought he was one of the previous guys. I thought he was in that picture that you look at.
Well, I know it's Sid, so we have Sid, King Regis, the guy from the French town, the cook guy.
Yeah.
And then
I thought it was Kor.
Wasn't it? No, I don't think it was. I think it was Gladiolus' dad, the bald guy.
Okay. Well, either way.
I was like, God, Kor doesn't age. Like, look at Sid. Like, Jesus Christ, Sid looks like a fucking, like a piece of jerky you left out in the sun for like a year. It's just fucking. How's it going? And then Kor is like, hey guys, how's it going? He's all smooth and suave, and you got this fucking guy who's like got both feet in a grave. He's smoked like more cigarettes than you've been alive for days, and I was like, for a second, I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, I don't remember that. There you go, though.
But either way, it's the 2 games where it's like you are the Warriors of Light and you meet the previous Warriors of Light that they talk about in the prologues of the early games.
That's true. 3 kind of did something similar, though, where you had the Warriors of Darkness that they talked about when like the world was too light. And but that's a good point, though. That's kind of a rare thing in the series.
That's extra good because 3 times 5 is 15.
Oh my God.
Shit. Oh, shit. It was by design.
But I mean, does that even matter when at the end of the day we all know that jet fuel doesn't burn hot enough to melt steel beams?
Checkmate. Checkmate.
It's all in a document on Hironobu Sakaguchi's computer.
Yeah.
I don't know.
He's like, you know what? I told you I was done making these games. You wouldn't listen. So I'm going to do 2 things. I'm going to make a real bad movie, and I'm going to do some real bad shit.
God.
Gooch out.
It all comes back.
Oh, fuck.
It is all about exploring and doing whatever you want, and about freedom and exploration and gameplay, and that is not why I play video games. I am not here for gameplay and freedom. I am here to walk down a hallway and experience a narrative. That's why I love Final Fantasy 13 and thought Final Fantasy 12 was kind of boring.
I'm not here for fun games. I am here for a bad book.
That's right. That is why I'm
fan translation of a bad book.
Now, granted, we did play the original version, and the reason why we played the original version was because this game was considered like a lost Final Fantasy by a bunch of us back in the day, because they straight up just used the Final Fantasy IV sprite sheets and modified them for this game. And the only way to trigger the end game is to get this to a certain number, but you never know what that number is, and so you're just aimlessly doing adventures and battles, hoping that eventually the end game triggers. So, for people who who are task-oriented and want to, take steps towards achieving a goal, this game is kind of similar to real life, where just, you have a goal that's vague and you don't know whether or not anything you're doing is actually helping you meet it. But damn it, I'm playing RPGs for escapist fantasy, where I can have a linear path to my goal.
They won't tell me what my metrics are used for, and my performance reviews are pretty good, but I'm not triggering the management side quest.
Right. It is really annoying. As someone who, look, being completely honest, I mainly played this game for the UFF review because I had a bunch of people request I do it.
Hey, me too.
Right. And because I need to plug my new music video, Plug, which I'm sure is going to get a bunch of thumbs down because here I am ragging on this game you wanted to review.
Very nice. You'll have to let us know when you have to... Do you have Twitter? Or?
I do, yeah.
You'll have to tweet us the screenshot of your 100% when you get it, man. I want to see that. I love seeing other members of the Order of Ambrosia. Yes, join us in the Order.
All right, guys. I work at a deli, and this motherfucking old piece of shit comes by once a week, and we have an ambrosia salad. And this guy is went through the Korean War. I know because he always wears his vet hat. And he comes up and he goes at the loudest fucking old man voice ever. Can you give me some ambrosia? And it's the same volume level. It's the same intonation. Everything is pronounced exactly the same every time. He always buys the ambrosia salad. Always. So, twice when you said the Order of Ambrosia,
you didn't remember.
I got a little irked. For a second, I got a little irked.
That guy is just Schweiss in old man makeup.
Yeah. He comes down to
Confirmed.
California to torture me once a week. Briefly.
It's what's the worst looking salad in here?
Oh, my God. And if there's any delay or if someone's, confused about what he said about anything else, he starts going, oh, shit. Oh, he's most people groan or sigh or roll their eyes, and he just starts swearing to himself. Jesus Christ! Oh man, this motherfucking guy, dude. Oh fuck! Next time I gotta hide a microphone and take it into my work with me so you guys can hear this fucker. It's nuts.
Confirmed. Joe doesn't like vets.
Yeah, and I'm transphobic.
Yeah.
Transphobic, vet hatred. I am now the least offensive member of this podcast.
Oh, yeah. Congratulations.
He did
all in a day's work.
So, in Final Fantasy III, in the development process, they took all of the jobs that they had and positioned them on an 8x8 grid that sort of placed them on a spectrum from physical to magic. So, the opposite of a black belt is a mage of some kind, and then from chaotic to lawful, and the most chaotic would be a ninja, the most lawful is a sage. But there is one job that does not have a polar opposite. Which job is that?
And this is Joe first, right?
No, this is you.
Oh, no polar opposite. Viking.
No.
This is FF3.
Yeah.
Dragoon.
No. The Red Mage.
Oh, of course. Oh, fuck.
Oh, that's an obvious one, actually. Yeah. Like, what would it be? Someone that's like just total shit.
Yeah.
Like,
can't do anything.
Like, I just suck ass.
I just can't do a single thing.
You just have like a baby character, and then it's like 3 warriors and this baby. You're like, fucking, come on, baby, you're the last one alive. Fucking no, baby. This baby always folds under pressure. Yeah, that's a good call. Like, yeah, that would just be a nothing character. You know, character slot. You like fired the guy, and it's just fucking. Oh well, you would have another turn here, but you kicked him out of the band, so so now you're just gonna have to die.
Yeah, I do miss the therapy sessions in Nude Clan.
Yeah,
because I used to do them on UFF, and then they kind of disappeared from UFF when I started doing Nude Clan. And they've been peppering themselves back in every once in a while. They pepper themselves back in, you know.
Yeah,
I get like my little vent moments.
I mean, that's just a sign. It means you got to come back.
Come back to Nude Clan. I'm good. You gonna pay me $40,000 in Utah or what?
I don't think so.
No. Okay.
We'll adjust it for cost of living, so we'll give you $10,000.
Yeah, $40,000 is like the minimum I need to make in order to have a place to my own here. Like that's
kind of insane, like very insane.
Yeah, it'll be like a little shitty place, but I can make a little shitty place nice. I can do that. It's like I just need to be able to fucking afford it. But yeah, this place I'm so ooh.
Yeah, I mean
the idea of re-upping at this fucking apartment makes me want to like kill myself. Go ahead.
You'll do that, and then you'll start getting all down and like, oh god, because you don't have anyone else there.
I have roommates who keep to themselves all day. So all my good roommates, all my fun roommates have gone now. I have roommates who either keep to themselves and leave headphones in all day and do nothing. Or stay in their rooms and do that, or watch TV in their rooms if they have a private room. And I have those roommates, and then I have one roommate who just, whenever I see him, annoys me deeply. And no one does their fucking dishes.
Yeah.
I remember once upon a time, so I used to live with Caleb Craig, and Caleb Craig would never do his dishes. And one day I took all the fucking dishes from the sink that he had left there, and I put it in his bed. Have considered doing that here, but there's too many fucking roommates to like deal with that. So what I have now done is I'm now the plastic and paper silverware and plates guy. And I have one mug. And I have my pot and my pan. And I clean them every time I use them. And fucking so that I am officially taken off of the dishes radar. Like, it's not my fucking problem anymore. I don't give a fuck. You guys can fucking fuck up all you want. I am not giving. And then on top of that, I put a little piece of paper above the trash can and the recycling thing, and there's a date line and the fucking name, and you just write your fucking name when you take out that trash. And I was the last person to take out the trash, by the way, and it's piling the fuck up, and I'm not going to take out that fucking trash. Because one of those other motherfuckers, one of those other lazy pieces of shit can go do it instead. Fuck, I want my own place. Fuck.
Yeah.
Fuck.
I know what you mean.
I want to be able to put my fucking movie posters up and have my like have my shrine. I want it set up like I did in Orem, without Caleb's Cup-pocalypse on top of it. Like I just want control again. Anyway,
Yeah, and it's maddening because, like, the only option is to either just accept it and live in filth and get mad every time you pass it, or take it out yourself and defeat the whole purpose of the rotation, and then they'll just expect you to do it again.
Space.
Yeah, and you just become the bitch, basically, and it's like, well, that's not a good method either.
No, it's not. It's fucking not, so... fuck.
You just have to explode on them. That's what you gotta do.
I have gotten quite mad. And I came here as, like, the timid guy. Like, I tried not to talk too much and ruffle too many feathers. But this roommate has slowly worked his way into my, like, fucking, like, annoyed center of my brain. That, like, even though he does something that was, like, a little thing before, it's now everything's, like, a huge thing. I fucking can't stand this motherfucker. I can't stand him. He has like a gazillion degrees, and they're all in STEM fields, and he's really knowledgeable about them, and in that way, he's really intelligent. But the motherfucker can't understand sarcasm or irony. The only sense of humor that he gets is like lowest common denominator sense of humor. He's like. And by the way, that's when I'm fucking like gonna fuck with someone because they didn't do their dishes or something like that, all my little jabs, which he'll take literally, are gonna be little sarcastic comments about the state of his filth or whatever. Yeah. And he'll start like once he realizes, because he has to realize that I'm messing with him, then he'll start to slowly get mad. And then he'll call me an idiot because apparently, like, he can't understand how I get to somewhere in a conversation. And it's only when I'm fucking with him. It's only when there's sarcasm. And the only reason I fuck with him is because he fucks with my life. And he doesn't leave me the fuck alone. And he fucking puts fucking turmeric powder stains all over every fucking thing in the bathroom. And like every time I put a fucking towel down so that the shower that's leaking, doesn't spread water all over the ground, he fucking kicks it out of the way. And he smells terrible because he hardly ever takes a shower. The only time he takes a shower is when you go, "Hey, you stink." And then he'll be like, "Oh, do I? Oh." And then he'll go take a shower, and all he does is like stay in his fucking little cubby all day. And the only time he fucking comes out happens to be when I'm home and I'm trying to work. And then he has to like try to have a conversation with me, or he'll watch a movie and he'll try to bug me throughout the fucking movie, and I'll be like, "Shut up." And then I have to put on these fucking boundaries. Fuck. All right, I have to put these. Here's the deal. I didn't talk about him before because everybody knows what the name of my podcasts are in this fucking thing, and there was always a chance that one of my roommates was going to listen to the podcast. I don't give a fuck anymore. I can't stand this fucking guy, okay? I'd be working at my computer, working on the movie, watching like a new cut of the movie, working on the outline for the next movie, whatever. I'm working, whatever the fuck it is, I'm working when I'm at that fucking computer. I usually don't have days where I just like go around and like do YouTube videos all day. It happens every once in a while, but that is not my normal mode. So if I'm at the computer with my fucking headphones on, that means I'm fucking working. Leave me alone. I have told him that 19,000 times. I have told him that. Just fucking, hey, if I'm here with my headphones on, leave me alone. And it would work for like a day and a half. And then he would just have to, there'd be some little thing. Because this fucking ADD motherfucker, his ADD is so fucking bad that he has to make everybody else suffer for it. And he like takes so many fucking drugs that he's a fucking like tweaking motherfucker. I don't even know why. What the fuck is the ADD medication for if he's still fucking bouncing off the fucking walls? Right? And so I'm at the computer desk. Imagine there's a big open living room, right? There's a couple couches, and then behind that there's or to the left of the couches there's like a desk. It's a big computer desk. I got my one roommate that does nothing but sit on the computer all day, wear headphones, and watch comedy specials all day. His computer's on the side there, and then mine is like kitty corner to that. So I am facing the living room, so I can see the couch, I can see the television. I'm standing there, my little monitor's over the thing, and he'll stand 4 feet behind the desk, so he's in front of me, right? and he'll just he'll wave his arms to get my attention, or he'll go back and forth, or he'll try to look at me. And when you can tell that someone's looking at you from your periphery or from kind of you're focused on something else, but you can tell when someone's standing there and looking at you and they're fucking trying to get your attention. He would do that. He would just do that to try to get my fucking attention. And he does this all the fucking time. I'll be working, and yes, technically he's not talking to me, but he's waiting for me to look up so that he can feel like he has permission to do the thing. And I got fucking mad at him. And one day I just walked all the way over to fucking Staples, and I grabbed this this big, huge poster board thing, and I had to put that in front of my fucking computer and say, hey, man, you have a fucking problem with boundaries. I fucking told you not to fucking bug me when I was on this thing. Here's a new giant boundary. It works for a week. It works for a fucking week. And then he starts going to the fucking side. He starts going to the side and making his little waves and his gestures. This motherfucker, by the way, looks and acts like Tweak from South Park. He's not scared. It's like Tweak plus Cartman, I would say. But he looks like a little blonde guy that fucking is bouncing off the walls. I have sent Schweiss videos of this motherfucker eating. He's fucking weird and bizarre, but he also has no fucking sense of humor about himself, which just is the cherry on the fucking shit pile. As we talked about before, I'm gonna continue to use these fucking metaphors about this fucking piece of shit guy. So let's put that there, and the fact that every time I make a joke, he doesn't get the joke, and then he has to we have to have some logical fucking argument, and I fucking get roped in because I love arguing with people, so I'm a fucking idiot when it comes to this. I should just learn to shut the fuck up. I have found out that this guy only listens to you when you fucking get mad at him. That's the only time. And then he'll be like, why are you so butthurt? And then he'll walk off. This motherfucker is 32 years old, by the way.
Damn.
Look, I'm the 27-year-old guy who big Hollywood dreams. I just graduated from college, whatever. All right. So I'm a little older, and I'm living in this place with a bunch of people that are kind of like that. We're all working on little art careers or whatever, or just living off their GI Bill, I guess, because that's what one of my roommates is doing, and just living somewhere cheap. But this guy is his living is doing tutoring every once in a while. He prefers to live this way. That's what he as a 32-year-old man. This is what he has chosen to do. He is such a fucking Fuck this guy. Oh my God, fuck this guy. I can't stand it. Yesterday, dude, or it was the day before, it might have been the day before yesterday. I complained to him or my towels are hanging up on the little drying rack that we have for laundry. And hardly ever use it, but the towels weren't quite dry after the load that I went through in the laundry. And so I hung them up there. One of the towels being the one that he had put his fucking curry stain or turmeric stain or whatever the fuck Indian powder he had that was orange. And now it looks like a giant shit stain on my towel. That's what it looks like. It looks like a nasty orange shit stain. And it didn't come out in the wash, obviously. And so I go, oh, yeah, thanks for the shit stain on the towel. And he looks at it and he kind of laughs at that. And then he proceeds to tell me the proper way. He's like, oh, it should be able to come out because of this and this and this. Like the proper way to clean the towel, to get the stain out of the towel. And I happen to point out in a very sarcastic and pointed fashion that he was not one to give laundry advice because I was looking at him and he had stains all over his shirt and like 5 stains all over his shorts. He just had like random fucking stains all over the place. And then he was like, that's not true because these aren't stains. I haven't washed these. So he's like walking, well, he admits to like walking around and like not having washed his clothes. And to me, it was funny that he was fucking trying to give me laundry advice about how to remove a stain. And on his own fucking clothing, there were stains all over the place. It's funny. Okay? It's ridiculously, like, hypocritical and funny and ironic. And he did not get it. He did not get what was funny to me. What was fucking funny to me was that he was giving laundry advice and had stains all over the clothes that he was wearing. He didn't understand. He's like, we're not talking about my clothes. Like, he starts an argument about this. We're not talking about my clothes right now. We're talking about the towel. And I know because of my chemistry and my 12 bachelor's degrees that this is how you properly clean the thing. And then I, like, started laughing at him. I was like, dude, learn to laugh at yourself. What the fuck? Oh, my God! Oh, and he's like, well, it's not funny if you have to explain the joke. And, like, in my head, I'm like, I shouldn't have to explain this fucking joke!
Yeah, you're like, you're right.
You're right! And then he called me an idiot. And in my head, I'm like, oh, my God, I'm not the idiot here. I'm not the idiot. How can you be so fucking smart and so fucking stupid at the same time? What the fuck? I've been asking that question for the last fucking year that I've lived with this motherfucker. How could you be so smart and so stupid? Everything you do, you're so fucking dumb. Oh!
Yeah, that reminds me of that truck quote of mine on Nude Clan. I had somebody dig it back up for me, and it's I got it right here. It's get the headphones, and you just don't fucking talk to people, and you seem like an asshole, but it's for your safety. It's fucking deranged.
Oh my God.
That's exactly what you should just print that out on the big poster board, just that. Instead, just make it your quote.
I'd remove the poster board because he wasn't respecting it. It didn't matter.
God, that is ridiculous. Why does he bother you? Like, why you?
I don't know. It's not like I like him. I've made it very clear now, because now I make sure every interaction with me is, like, mediocre to negative now. It's like I used to give him the time of day, try to be the right roommate and it just slowly over time I was just like, I can't. He does not respect boundaries at all. He does not respect boundaries. He is one of two people that makes giant messes with the dishes, so the dish problem is 50% his problem. He complains about things being not clean, but only the things that he complains about. Sorry, let me rephrase this. He is a messy motherfucker, and he gets like yellow powder stains all over the fucking place, and he doesn't shower, and like our room with like 6 people in it, or 6 bunks, I guess there's only 3 people in it right now. Our room is piled to the brim with like shit, and most of the shit is his. Like, he has too many personal belongings for the place that he lives in right now. And then he like leaves his shoes out in front of the couches. All this shit. Every time he like preps something like a sandwich or something like that, there's crumbs on the counter. He doesn't clean it up. There's fucking jam on the counter. Like, you can't fucking eat at the place, at the fucking island in the kitchen, because this motherfucker, every time he makes a fucking peanut butter and jelly sandwich, his favorite fucking thing to make, there's fucking jam just sticking all over the fucking island. He'll complain though if there's a little bit of water on the floor in the bathroom. He doesn't, like, what he chooses to complain about cleanliness-wise is baffling to me, because he is the dirtiest roommate, by far. And he won't complain about those things. Or he will. He will complain about those things, like, another roommate will leave, like, 1 dish in the sink, and it'll be like, those ones aren't mine. That giant pile's mine, sure. Those ones aren't mine. And then it'll go off about how no one does their dishes. Fuck this fucking moron. He's a fucking moron. And he's annoying. He's not even funny. He's funny in like let's make a documentary about this character, this ridiculous human being kind of a way. He's not like... Anyway, I'm trying to get a new job so I can get the fuck out of this place.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've made that clear. Honestly, the roommate is one of the biggest problems. Like he's now the second worst roommate I've ever had. The first worst roommate was a Chinese guy who was really nasty. Just about everything. Like this guy would just burp all day and fart in his sleep. Which, you can't blame the guy for farting in his sleep, I guess. But he also ate like shit, and that's why he burped all day, farted in his sleep. He would leave food around, and then there were fruit flies everywhere. He left fucking fruit in like these. He would take like all the dishes. He would like leave like fruit in there, and then there'd fucking be rotten fruit in the fridge. In like a week, he would just leave meat out in the fridge, just there, not for a day, but for like weeks. I would leave meat out in the fridge, and then I would have to clean up his pee every single time I went to the restroom because he would pee on the seat. A grown-ass fucking Chinese guy kept on peeing on the fucking seat. And then one day, this was the kicker, right? One day, he shat on the seat and left it. It's just like the corner where I guess his ass crack would be. He'd just like, there was now like an inch of shit on the toilet seat.
Oh, man.
And he fucking left it. He left it. That was the worst roommate. He was only with us for a month. This guy's the second worst roommate. And, I guess Cody would be... Cody's fourth place on this list.
Oh, shit. That's... Jesus
my
Christ.
Roommate, my first roommate, Carl, when I moved out at 18, he was pretty fucking bad. He was a super messy roommate. Always in a bad mood. But, like, at least he kept to himself.
Yeah.
So Carl's number 3. Fuck.
I mean, mine are pretty limited, so...
Ugh.
I don't know who would be worst. Probably Cody. And then...
Yeah, Cody without Sarah, pretty bad.
Yeah.
Cody with Sarah, even worse.
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess it'd be Cody, Caleb, you, and then Cameron. No. Cody, Caleb, you, Dwayne, Cameron.
Okay.
I think that's it. Yeah. And those are all like, I mean, you pissed me off, but not like all the time. After you, it's pissed me off often, and then pissed me off all the time. But not to this level of rage. It's just like having to knock on Cody's door and be like, hey, you got any forks? And then him be like, yeah. And I was like, okay. And then I go out and I like finish making my food, and then I have to go back to his door, and he's like, what? And I'm like, the fork I would like to eat using my fork that's in your fucking room. One of 8 forks. Please give me it now, not whenever you feel like it, because I need to eat fucking food right now. Like, he's like, oh, you don't gotta get all pissed off. And I was like, no, I do. I really do. Shouldn't have all 8 forks in your fucking room, man. But other than that, yeah.
Oh my god. Like, Caleb Craig. I like the guy, so there's a bit of weight, you know.
There's a bit of weight,
equation.
Yeah. Quite a bit of weight
that weighs into the equation.
Yeah.
But he is messy. He's real messy in pretty much every aspect of his being. To be fair, though, having seen the house that Caleb comes from, it's inherited. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not like he knew the right ways. I feel like my fucking roommate comes from a really rich family, and he should fucking know better. Like, but actually it's the opposite because everything was cleaned up for him as a kid. That's what I thought.
Oh, that's
I
great.
was like, oh, they didn't tell you, you know, about boundaries and how to treat people.
And when people put up
You would
poster
think
boards,
those would be like good skills to have if your rich dad brought over his rich associates and their families, and maybe you would learn how to properly behave I would guess, I would guess, but I guess not. I guess quite the opposite. But yeah, Caleb Craig was the worst at the dishes, and eventually what I did, and I have considered doing it here, was took all the dishes that came with the apartment, hide them away, or throw them away, and then make everybody buy their own dishes, and then whose is whose.
Yeah.
With Caleb Craig, he refused to do that, so I bought him 2 plates and 2 bowls. That's what I did. They were the green ones. I had the white ones. He had the green ones.
Oh, I still have one of those bowls.
Yeah.
That's funny.
That's what you got to do, man. That's what you got to do eventually is be like, okay, we each have our own dishes. They're colored a certain way. You can't have too many of them so they don't pile up. You are forced to clean them. So no more than 2 of anything.
Yeah, do you
One
guys have
pot,
a dishwasher?
1 pan. We do have a dishwasher. But
Oh,
then
there's
no one
no-
unloads it after they fucking go.
Oh. There's no reason. I mean, either way, I don't know. If I only had 2 of each thing, I'd probably just wash it by hand.
Yeah.
But
that's the fastest thing to do. So
yeah, it doesn't take. And then, like, you just get it cleaned when it's all, fresh and it's not been sitting there and, it's crusted over and all that shit.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, now it's like I use the dishwasher, but I basically do it all by hand anyway because I fucking scrub it all off before I stick it in there. Because I live with a person who's insane and believes that you're just supposed to throw it in without rinsing it. I'm like, what are you fucking talking about? You can't do that. That's why there's still coffee in the bottom of that mug, because you did that. Like,
Hey,
and
now.
rinse the shit out of it. Yeah, you did that shit too, didn't you?
I believe that the dishwasher, you'll know what you have to then clean after the dishwasher is done doing the dishes.
Right, but if you've done it more than once, you should already know that.
I don't believe in cleaning the fucking dish twice.
Oh, God.
Unless I have to. So, as soon as you're done, a quick rinse, preferably when you're right done with the thing, and then you throw it in the dishwasher. But if something's been sitting there, I don't, there's no point in doing the scrubberoo. There's no, otherwise, what's the fucking point of the dishwasher? You just add a little soap to it.
I'm remembering this conversation happening
fucking-
years ago. This exact conversation. And I think I said the same thing. I'm like, yeah, but after you see that it doesn't fucking clean X, Y, and Z, you don't just put it in there again the same way. Because it's not going to clean it. It's not a fluke. It's a fucking dishwasher. It does the same thing every time. God damn it.
Look, I have changed.
Oh, God. All right.
Fuck it. Fuck Final Fantasy. I'm fucking done. I'm going home. All right. News, Schweiss. We got some news.
The edge in front of her was rended open. She came back to her senses. She reflexively jumped out of the way, so she did not suffer any damage. She kept telling herself not to think of unnecessary matters, even though she had no choice because she remembered even when she didn't want to. She tried cutting at it a second and third time, but her blade missed every time. She felt that she was being rejected. She realized that evasive actions... Check evasive action. She realized that evasive actions were synonymous with rejection of understanding. I see. Guess you can't afford to recklessly leak information when you're the guardian of the throne, huh? She let out a flurry of lightning attacks. Of course lightning did. Of course she did. I'm picking a different fucking... they call it like blitz and shit in the game. She let out a flurry of lightning attacks. I'm gonna drink in a whole bunch of Joe gulps. Ah, God, yeah.
Anyway, Yoshinori Kitase met with Kazushima Nojima, brainstormed about the world after 10-2, and they wanted to have the story continue as a direct opposite of Titus and Yuna's happy story. And thus, Sin was brought back. Mm-hmm. Spoilers! Sin was brought back. Kitase said he wanted to do something similar to Sephiroth's role in FF7. So, you know how Sephiroth keeps on coming back in the stupid fucking sequels.
They're like, why not ruin another great game?
Why not? Why not?
Fuck it, we've already done it to the best one. Let's hit number 2. Just work on down the line.
God. They're going to create a sequel to 6 and have Kefka come back.
Yeah. Yeah, Kefka's going to come back and Locke is going to... Or no, the Setzer is going to, like, try to flip a card and it's going to, like, cut his head off. He's going to, like, throw it up into the air and it's going to actually be made of a razor blade and it's going to land on his neck and decapitate him and then they're going to, you know, the head's going to roll over to fucking Celis and she's going to jump off the airship and kill herself for real this time. But then it's all a dream, so fuck it. But then is it a dream? You don't know, but do you care? No. No, you don't. Was it supposed to help you with the understanding the story of 10 that's already convoluted and confusing? Yes. Did it? No. No. No! It's even more confusing.
So,
Fuck.
I love how when I was walking home and I was like, hey man, I'm going to be a little late. I still haven't listened to it. I'm still walking home. You were like, I think you're going to like this one.
Yeah. I was seeing if I could, like...
You fucking asshole!
I was seeing if I could, like, be like, oh, you know, maybe I'll get Joe to think it's not that bad.
You thought you were going to fucking, like... Oh, I'll say it's good, and Joe will come on and be like, what the fuck? Why did you think this was good? Like... Or I'd be like, yeah, it wasn't that bad. You know, I heard it was good. What did you think was going to happen?
I was hoping that you'd just, like, view it in a positive enough light that you'd be like, well, I don't think it's good, but it's not terrible. But I don't think
like
that's...
a moment, Schweiss, there was a moment before a certain group of people went to the fucking, what's the moon flow?
Mm-hmm.
Right, before they went there. And I was like, okay, yeah, all right, I'm into this. I guess Weiss might... I mean, Waka had a really fucking dumb line, but outside of that, I guess I'm okay with this thing. I listened to it in English, by the way.
Yeah,
and then, you know...
Just listen to it in Japanese. It's better that way, because you have no idea what the fuck's going on either way. So you might as well just listen to it in Japanese.
I wouldn't be able to cook my food and listen to it in Japanese. I'd have to watch the fucking thing. But, yeah, you know, up to the Moonflow part, I was like, okay, maybe it has a cool ending, and Schweiss wasn't fucking with me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Turned out, not so much.
No, dude, I hated this fucking thing immediately. It's trash, man. That Chuami character is a fucking social justice warrior piece of shit. She comes into this town. Yeah, chew on
me, baby.
That's what she's basically telling everybody is chew on it, like... She comes into this fucking town and all better than everyone else and is like, oh, I can't believe these people see value in something that's clearly bad.
I wouldn't say social justice warrior. I would say militant atheist.
Yeah, militant there is nothing worse in this world than someone who used to be really religious and now they're an atheist. That is the worst thing ever. Because they won't...
Oh, if they're bitter.
And they're bitter, yeah. They're bitter.
Yeah. You gotta have that element.
Bitter ex-Christian atheists are the worst fucks ever. And this Chuami character is that to a fucking T, man. God, she is insufferable in this fucking drama.
I can't believe you guys follow Yevon. It's so convoluted and old and lame.
Yeah, and Owaka's like, well, yeah, man, but I mean, it tells you not to do all these other things. She's like, oh, that's just common sense. He's like, well...
Come on, we'll have it with our logical brains. Come on. You guys suck. Boo.
Yeah, fucking God, shut up. Like, God, fucking A, man. It was, like, immediate, too. It was so instant. And she's so standoffish and, like, God, I hate that fucking character, dude.
It puts up so many fucking questions. Doesn't even, like, hint at any answers. And it's apparently just like an idea they have for the world after 10.2 and not a lead up to a 10.3. according to the developers. It's just a fucking terrible, tacked-on piece of shit that doesn't have an ending. What it is like a fan... It's a fan fiction, and the authors stopped writing.
Yeah. Thankfully, but yeah.
Not thankfully, by the way. I'm really fucking mad, actually, because a couple characters were up to some stuff, and I was like, hold on, let's resolve this. I need to know what the fuck is happening right now. And then it was like, no, we're not going to do that. No.
Yeah.
Not going to do it. That's what they fucking did. Oh, my God. So, yeah, it's about a fucking bitch named Chew On Me. And...
Chew on this, bitch. No, just kidding.
And her friend Kurgum, who he's a sender.
Yeah, it's like summoners without summoning power because they can't do that anymore.
She's the guardian. There's something between them that's hinted at. She's like 17 or something like that. Anyway, they're on their way to meet Yuna, who's in Baralai with all the freaks, apparently. But before they go, they meet Titus, and they see that he's got like a little bit of an injury, and that he's trying to hide it. So they joke about, betting on the other team, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, so she's already a scumbag. She's like, yeah, look at that 1% Titus. Huh. Not so strong now, are you, with your fucking injury, you little fucking loser. And it's weird because it almost feels like the beginning of 10 again right there, too. Like,
they played the music, too, and the sound mix.
Yeah, and then Titus is just like, hi, yeah, love you guys. Yeah, suck my dick after? Yeah, cool. Okay, cool. He's like shaking hands and shit, grabbing asses, grabbing them by the pussy, whatever. All that shit
that's what
that
you do when you're in power.
Exactly.
That's why you do that.
I feel like that's obvious. They love it. But it's weird. It's like he's back in the same place, which is a weird transition from last novel to begin with, honestly, because it's like at the end of the last one, I didn't even know if he was alive. Like, it just seemed ridiculous when I read it.
Turns out, it looks like they made it back.
Yeah, everyone's fine.
Everybody's fine. Titus is now a star player. And Yuna apparently is a fucking monk somewhere.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
As like a spiritual symbol. And the big, that big, huge religious leader, long distance romance with a fucking sports player.
Yeah, it's a tale as old as time. I mean,
tale as old as time.
It really is. If you had any idea what went on between the Pope and Michael Jordan, you'd understand,
Yeah, but you'd have to add, remember the Pope's old pop albums?
Yeah, that's true.
Back when he was on his his world tour pilgrimage kind of thing.
Yeah. Those what can
himself.
What can I do for you? Yeah.
Yeah.
What can Christ do for you?
Yeah, I know. Last time we talked, I bitched for an hour basically, and I feel like I need to make up for that. I'm having a great time, guys. Just having a great time. It's wonderful. World of Final Fantasy has gone from being an immense annoyance to just simply boredom and mediocrity.
Yeah. Yeah, that's about what it's at. Yeah.
Because once Tama stops talking, it's really just kind of a dull game.
That's right. Yeah, that's the only quality to be seen.
Oh my God, I can't believe it. I think this is the real reason why you want to have the 14 expansion be our last game, is so that we're not on a downer note with World of Final Fantasy. I'm pretty sure that's it.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, yeah, all these Final Fantasy games, we get to our final game. It's a retrospective game, and it is not remarkable in any way, shape, or form. That's I think that's what it is. I think you want the 14 expansion so that we can be like, yeah. Or what if we have the same reaction?
We might.
Like, yeah. I mean, none of the other 14 expansions have really like blown our minds. They've had good parts, but
yeah, they've gotten better as it's gone along.
Yeah, that's true.
But oh, dude, no. Okay, so 4 Heroes of Light has a 71 on Metacritic, and World of Final Fantasy on PS4 has a 77.
That's not true. That can't be true.
The Maxima has a 71, though. So the Maxima is worse, even though everyone told us to buy it. It's like, let's fuck with them and make the game even worse.
That's interesting, huh? Wow.
Yeah, and that's why I was like, oh, this could be pretty good, you know? I've got a lot of preconceived notions about what this game is. I could be wrong. And then I got in, and I was like, wow, I wasn't right. I wasn't right enough. Like, I suppose I was wrong, but it was the wrong kind of wrong. So, first up on news this week, that shit piece of fuck game, Dissidia Final Fantasy NT. Also, one of the last games we had to play. Also trash. New villain, Gabranth. So you can play Gabranth from FF12. New DLC. Oh, nice. So if you haven't already turned that into either a coaster or simply thrown it away because you just don't want it in your home, you can pay more money to get a DLC character. Look at that.
Is the disc the coaster?
The disc is the coaster, yes. If you bought it digitally, there is no use for that. So, January 23rd, 2020, Crystal Chronicles Remastered will be released.
Is this the interview with the guy?
Yeah. Apparently they're going to have cross-play and cross-saves confirmed. So, Switch, PS4, Android, and iOS. Yeah, you could play it on your phone with me, Joe.
Oh, wow. You could play everywhere. You could play Crystal Chronicles. You could play it on your Switch. And you could pick it right back up with your Android, right? Is that what it's saying?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wow. I can't wait till people put down this game.
Yeah. I can't wait to platinum it and be one of the only people.
I just remember the bounty. I think we should call it the bounty hunter effect. It's like I remember that game as a kid. I remember other kids playing it and like having it at their house. I got my PS2 version off of a guy who had it in his old PS2 collection. Like it was a pretty popular, money making Star Wars game. And then you get the freaking remaster on the PlayStation Network store, and it is an atrocious game. And it turns out to be the exact same game as it was on the previous system. There wasn't like any problem with the transfer. It was just a bad game. And what you see is like a lot of people buy the game, but remember the fucking percentage on the completion rate of that game being like ridiculously low? I think it was almost everybody who buys Star Wars Bounty Hunter on the PlayStation Store realizes that it is a piece of shit and doesn't finish it. I expect something similar to happen with the Crystal Chronicles remake.
Yeah.
Or remaster, I'm sorry.
So 21,000. Like,
wow, I remember when this was so great. And then just be like, oh yeah, no one finishes this game for some reason. That's odd.
Yeah, so 21,669 people on PlayStation profiles for Bounty Hunter, right?
Okay.
51% of those, so 10,000, marked and claimed their first bounty, which you're supposed to do.
In like the first second of the game.
Yeah. 19% of people finished Chapter 1. 10% of people finished Chapter 2. 6% Chapter 3. 4% 3%. 3% of people beat it. So 3% of 21,000 people have actually finished that game.
I'd like to underline that between getting your first bounty. This is how bad Star Wars Bounty Hunter is. There's a 30% drop off in the first mission from getting your first bounty, which is literally the first thing you do in that game, to the end of that mission.
Yeah.
So 50% start the game up and go, fuck this. Another 50% actually get the first bounty. And then, 30% actually finish the goddamn mission?
19% I'd finish the
19%! I'm sorry, yeah, 30% drop, so it's 30, yeah. Out of the 100% of people, it's oh my god. The difference is 30%. That's crazy.
And 134 beasts of burden have gotten every trophy, which means you have to get all the bounties, find all the secrets, and beat the game.
Slit all your wrists.
Sin is back, and Yuna, with, of course, these tag-along characters coming in and listening in on their conversation. Yuna goes to meet with Titus. This is my favorite scene, by the way. Yuna talks about Titus's apparently has a lady friend. He's like, no, she's just a friend. And then Yuna says she has to leave him because she's in love with someone else.
Yeah.
And doesn't say who. I can only imagine it's Waka. And then...
oh, yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
Bring that summoner ass over here.
Oh, my God. And then, equally, Cumdrop, or whatever his name is, he turns to chew on it. Chew on me, sorry. Turns to chew on me and says, I don't love you. I'm in love with... Say Yuna? What the fuck? It's
Yuna.
Bizarre.
Yeah, he said...
Yeah, it was Yuna. I'm in love with Yuna. I'm not in love with you. And then leaves her. And so, like, Yuna and Cumnut go. And then Titus and Oron's daughter. By the way, she's Oron's daughter.
She claims to be, yeah. Nobody
she just says
it.
that she is, and no one believes her. That's it. That's the only thread we have.
I love the thing that Lulu said, though. She's like, Oron never talked about you. He would have never kept a secret from us like that. It's like, he pretended to be alive the whole fucking game. He would totally lie to your ass about that shit.
Oron's a liar!
Yeah.
He's a liar!
He doesn't say a fucking thing. Man, it's dead the whole game.
Never talks.
Exactly. He's drinking all the time. Like, what do you expect? This could easily be his daughter. Like, fuck you. God.
I don't know. What does your mother look like?
Yeah.
Love that conversation.
Or it's like, yeah, I probably fucked her.
I love the fact that, like, there's a whole bunch of people coming up to us like they're their daughters and sons, and they want to get something out of us. I'm like, were these guys on their pilgrimage just fucking...
Yeah, they're just fucking
plundering. I'm a guardian, you know.
Yeah, it's a real panty dropper. That fucking I'm a guardian. But it's even worse because, like, she says, like, fucking even Braska, like, Yuna's dad was, like, getting fucking serious poon. It's like, I never thought about that, but I guess they probably would have, you know, they'd have chicks, a woman at every port, at least one. Like, the groupies would be insane in this world. Like, what else do they have to groupie up on? That's the way. The reason why it sounds like that is because they're getting fucking blown by 6 chicks at the same time. Oh, you'd make that sound too if you had 3 of them on your rod at once.
You're in a real hurry back then because, you know, you don't know when Sin's going to pop up at any time.
Yeah, they got the fast version. Oh, no.
Oh my god.
Fucking god.
So, yeah, apparently everybody's father is a piece of shit. Just fucking banging groupies left and right. Besides the fact they're all fucking married.
Yeah. One of them's a major religious figure, a Christ symbol. Like, the fuck?
Where they're fucking rolling through like Tiger Woods in this fucking place.
Yeah.
Going.
At the end of every temple, they got like 30 hot blondes lined up for him. Like, take your pick, boys.
I mean, to be fair, they in the world of Final Fantasy X, we've seen the outfits. You know, they are asking for it.
Oh yeah, of course.
100%. So yeah, apparently Yuna has claimed to Tidus that she's in love with another man. Tidus had a friend that says she's just a friend. So apparently, you know, a year apart. They were together for a year, and then they went their separate ways, because we only got Tidus's point of view for like a second in this goddamn thing. And as a fan, I'm pretty fucking pissed off. I'm pissed off at ruining my love story, number one. And number 2, bringing Sin back.
Yeah, what bullshit is that?
The fuck?
I mean, the whole...
And how often can we just wish something into existence in this world? And you're gonna fucking do that. You're gonna have that fucking be the cliffhanger. It's like, I gotta go get Yuta back, because Lulu's like, go hug her.
Yeah.
That's Lulu's instructions to Tidus in order to win Yuna back. Why don't you go embrace her? Like... Oh, I never thought of that before.
Yeah, then he runs off. He's like, oh, wait, just kidding. I did. Shut the fuck up. Let's give you some real advice, Lulu. Mayor.
I'm a blitzball player.
Yeah, I'm a blitzball player, not a fucking poet. She didn't fall in love with me.
Cry. That's the only thing you're ever good for. Then he smacks Yuna in the face. That happened within the year. We just have no idea.
Yeah.
He's just an abusive piece of shit.
Yeah, just projecting his father onto Yuna. It's in childhood.
You with another man.
Pathetic. God. Yeah. I mean, it has been a while. You never know.
I was like, that's the only reason. Like, I mean, come on, you can't just fucking do that to your fucking audience. Jesus Christ, Square, what the fuck is this? What the fuck is this? And you never give us 10-3. It's not like a horrible setup, and you're like, fuck, and then they're like 10-3, and you're like, oh, thank God, it's gonna have some sort of a conclusion. At least give it a chance. No, this is where the 10 series ends.
Yeah. At its all-time low. Like, Jesus Christ, dude. It's so dumb. And like, I guess you could say it's, it follows the spiral symbolism of the game, but I mean, I don't even know if that's true. I guess Sin coming back kind of does.
The plot has spiraled out of control.
Yeah, but yeah, I guess that's true too. Maybe that was an intended thing. It's like, let's let it spiral out of control, and then they did the little like blitzball like prayer bow thing in the meeting, and then they said yes, and then they fucking published it.